If you've ever had one of your tweets read aloud on the radio, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. Today is going to be the Hump Day or Wednesday edition for November 12th, 2025. We got some news to break down. We had some more earnings. We had Oklo earnings last night. We're going to have some more earnings after the close tonight with Cisco and Flutter. We had on the shoe company do earnings here this morning. So got some stuff to cover. We got Tim Melvin here today. We are midway through the week. We are going to have yet another good day here. So Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook, the Wednesday edition for November 12th, 2025, begins right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. Great to see a whole bunch of returning faces here. I hope that you all had a wonderful rest of your Tuesday evening. We are back for another market day here. We are going to have a great Wednesday. We're going to get it done, get some more money made, put into the account. Have a good one here today. Yes, that girl is first. Let's go. Good morning. Yes, that girl. Zach, good morning. Welcome back. Cad Monkey, good morning. Welcome back. Tara, just some girl. You guys are awesome with the usernames. Gals, I guess I should say. Awesome with the usernames. Good morning and welcome back. Brent, good morning. Welcome back. Brian, good morning. Welcome back. Judge, great to see you again. Ryan, good morning. Welcome back. Good to see you again. Sunkissed Yogi, good morning. Welcome back. Big Dave, good morning. Welcome back. Peter, good morning. Good to see you again. Let's skip through all. Whis, good morning. It's good to see you again. Marty, good morning. Just watched my favorite Seinfeld episode, The Heckler and the Bus Ride. Kramer saved a pinky toe. That episode is so good. You kept making all the stops? Well, they kept ringing the bell. Oh, that is a good one, Marty. Way to start today off on a high note. Good stuff, and welcome back. Neville, good morning. Welcome back. Jane, good morning. Welcome back. Empyrean, good morning. Welcome back. Kelly, good morning. Welcome back. Yassine, good to see you again. Asking if UNH and Humana should spike after the government reopens. I don't think spike. Maybe they trade up. Still think we might have a sell the news event with that. We can go ahead and take a look at that, though. Bernhard, good morning. Welcome back. Kenneth, good morning. Welcome back. Neville, good morning. Dan, good morning. Let's see, who else am I missing here? Crimp Biscuit, good morning. Rooster, good morning. Lombardo, good morning. Cam and Kimmy, good morning and welcome back. Day Trader, good morning. Welcome back. You guys are talking about Ondas. I believe Ondas reports tomorrow, guys, right? Let's see here. I've got it right in front of me here, I think. Ondas, 11:13 before market hours. So Ondas is going to be tomorrow morning, not today. You'll have to wait that one out. Cam, good morning. Big Bear Hug, good morning. Ari Stock Market, good morning. Big Bees, good to see you again. Lambo Rolls, welcome back, buddy. Harris, good morning. Joseph, good morning. Danger Boy, good morning. Producers always locked in, of course. Nancy, good morning. Flying out of Palm Beach tomorrow, or so we hope. Keep me posted on that. I did see a report that their flights are starting to get better, but there's still a lot of cancellations. And I guess that even if they were to open the government on Friday, there might still be a few days lag as they catch up. So good luck on your flight. Hope all is well. Keep us posted. Brock, good morning. Good to see you again. Dara, good morning. Johnny, good morning. Welcome back. Andrea, good morning. Welcome back. Let's see. Scarlett, good morning. Yes, Mid, good morning. Candy, good morning. Laura in Florida, good morning. Blessed Trader, good morning. Mike, good morning. Lion Atlas, good morning. Robot to Trade, good morning. And Cam, I think I already said good morning, but good morning again. Cam, good to see you. All right, let's go ahead and get started with our stock market today. All right, S&P futures. Well, futures as a whole here, green across the board. S&P futures up 0.37% ahead of today's open. Dow futures up 0.25%, and the NASDAQ leading the way higher at 0.62%. So a little bit of strength here ahead of Wednesday morning's open. Let's go ahead and take a look at some cues from last session. Sectors that gained on Tuesday included healthcare, energy, and consumer staples. This seems to be the inverse of the big tech trade that has worked for most of the year. Those sectors which recorded biggest advances, and most segments of the S&P 500 closed positively. Information technology, however, bucked the overall market trend, closing the session lower. Remember, that's mostly on the news that we got about SoftBank liquidating NVIDIA's stock position that they had. That pretty much weighed on tech most of the day. U.S. stock futures rose on Wednesday after Tuesday's mixed close. Futures of major benchmark indices were higher and are holding higher here into the open. Investors are awaiting a House vote on a temporary spending bill to expected by to end the record-long government shutdown. Easy for me to say. Meanwhile, the 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.08%, and the 2-year bond was at 3.56%. Now, some stocks in focus today. We are going to start with one of our earnings reports for after the bell today. That's going to be Cisco, ticker CSCO. That was up 0.5% in the pre-market on Wednesday as analysts expect it to report quarterly earnings of 98 cents per share on revenue of $14.77 billion. Again, that comes after the closing bell here today. The second stock on our list is going to be AMD, Advanced Micro Devices. They jumped 5.13% in the pre-market after its analyst day on Tuesday, which was several hours long, during which the company made bold projections regarding its near-term future and that of the broader AI and chip data center industry. So I have a story on that. We're going to dive into that here a little bit more. AMD plus 5% here this morning. Bill Holdings, ticker BILL, that surged 13.12% after a Bloomberg report revealed that the provider of financial operations platform for small and medium businesses is eyeing a potential sale. So that's trading up here 13.12%. If you take a look at Bill here this morning, it reached a high of about $55 in the after hours yesterday, sitting right at 53. In fact, a $53 bid out there right now in the pre-market. Next stock on our list here is going to be Total Energies. This is ticker TTE. That rose 0.72% after inking an agreement with Alphabet, ticker GOOG or GOOGL, to supply a 1.5 terawatt hours of renewable electricity from its solar farm in Ohio for 15 years. Last stock on our list here is going to be Alcon AG. That's ticker ALC. That gained 5.42% after reporting upbeat third quarter financial results. The company says it sees full year 25 earnings of $3.05 to $3.15 per share on sales of 10.3 to 10.4 billion. All right, let's go back to the SPY chart, see where we sit here today. The good news is that we did get a close above the trend line that we had added. Remember, this trend line originated on Tuesday, October 30th, and really spelled the top for the down move that we have made since then, since the end of October. Yesterday, we traded through it on low volume, with it being Veterans Day, the bond market closed. We did have some low volumes across the board, but nonetheless, we did trade above that level and close above that level. We are seeing a little bit more gains here today. Currently, SPY's at 685.50. As a reminder here, our all-time high is going to be 689.70. So we are only about 4 points away from that. That absolutely would mark a key level. Furthermore, I think if we back test this trend line on any type of sell-off, I've got that value at roughly 681. That would be another key level. And then the 676.67 20-day moving average would be yet another key level beneath that. So this is where we find ourselves on the SPY. Sure looks, at least from the pre-market here, that we look to trade a little bit higher. A quick peek at the VIX, which traded down yesterday, currently sitting at 1713. It really does seem to be the 15 handle that causes the VIX to bounce. So it looks like we have still another 2 points before we get back into that range. Also, I'm noticing now that AMD CEO Lisa Su is live on CNBC, so maybe we're getting a recap of what happened from the Investors Day yesterday. I've got some of that here for you as well. Before we dive into that, let's take a look at some insights from analysts here. LPL Financial has identified AI infrastructure as the new pillar of economic growth. That's hilarious because we've pretty much identified that what feels like months ago and have actually been looking for things to trade here. So it's nice that LPL has identified that. We did that earlier. That highlights the AI-related business investment is rapidly becoming a cornerstone of U.S. economic expansion. The investment in software, data centers, and equipment led by hyperscalers like Microsoft and Amazon contributed to the majority of economic growth in the first half of 2025. LPL believes there is, quote, room for more expansion in AI-related capital spending, end quote. Room for more expansion. We're already kind of looking at some of these eye-popping numbers. LPL thinks that's going to expand. A view supported by stronger loan demand from large firms from capital investment, or for capital investments, excuse me. Regarding the stock market, LPL's Strategic and Tactical Asset Allocation Committee, or STAC, maintains its tactical neutral stance on equities. While fundamentals are seen as broadly supportive, the committee warns that investors should brace for the occasional bouts of volatility, given the high optimism reflected in its current valuations. LPL remains wary of the concentration risk in a market heavily reliant on a few tech giants. Tactically, the stack favors growth over value, large caps over small caps, and the communication services and financial sectors. Economically, LPL also notes a weakening job market could potentially lead the FOMC to cut rates in December. We're starting to hear more and more folks think that a rate cut is coming in December. I know Powell threw a little bit of cold water on that, but it seems like that's not a done deal. When we checked this before, I believe the percentage from the Fed's CME watch tool was like 63%. I think it was initially 68% after the last rate decision, but it looks like we're hanging out there in about the same area. All right, let's go back to the chart. We'll start with the chart for AMD, and then let's dive into what we heard from the Investor Day. A producer said he had an amazing time producing that. So a lot of good stuff there. We'll see if producer has an opinion on all that stuff. Good morning, everyone else. Azrez Trader just passing through. Russ, just some guy, and Cheyenne. Let's go. All right, bro, go to Lisa Su. What the hell are you reading? What are you talking about? Is that English? We do English around here, by the way. So good luck on that one. But nice to have you here. Good morning. All right, looking at the AMD chart here, we did bounce off of one of the recent levels that we have identified. That was going to be about 226.69. That bounce continued to recapture the 20-day moving average. And we're kind of dancing around that average today with the gap above that. We definitely want to close above 246.43. AMD here, 252.50 in the pre-market. If we take a look inside, you can see how the action was here today. We popped in the after hours yesterday, resolved higher in the after hours, and higher still in the pre-market today. So we'll see where AMD goes. I know a lot of you have been bullish on AMD recently. Looks like that's paying off here, at least from the Investors Day so far. Let's go ahead and take a look at what happened here. AMD shares are getting a lift in the after hours on Tuesday following the company's Analyst Day. The chipmaker provided new long-term growth targets at the event. AMD held its first financial analyst day in 3 years on Tuesday, highlighting a broad portfolio of hardware, software, and solutions to power high performance and AI compute. AMD shares are popping in extended hours trading and then popping even more here in the pre-market after the company said it expects a greater than 35% revenue compound annual growth rate over the next 3 to 5 years. The chipmaker also guided for non-GAAP operating margins above 35%, as well as adjusted earnings per share of more than $20 on an annual basis. AMD said the growth will be led by its AI data center business, which is expected to grow at a compound annual rate of more than 80%. The company also noted that it expects to achieve more than 50% of server CPU revenue market share over the next 3 to 5 years, with gross margins ranging from 55 to 58%. That's according to Benzinga Pro. AMD is entering a new era of growth fueled by our leadership and technology roadmaps and accelerating AI momentum. That came from Lisa Su, chair and CEO of AMD. She goes on to say, with the broadest portfolio of products and our deepening strategic partnerships, AMD is uniquely positioned to lead the next generation of high performance and AI computing. We see a tremendous opportunity ahead to deliver a sustainable, industry-leading growth. We have never been better positioned. AMD said its Instincts MI350 series GPUs are ramping faster than any product in the company's history. The company's MI450 series GPU are expected in the third quarter of 2026, with a planned MI500 series anticipated to launch in 2027. So AMD business update, definitely positive there. Popped it in the after hours yesterday, held the pop all throughout the after hours, and is trying to go a little bit higher today. The market is being cooperative with that as we still have green arrows ahead of the open here today. Now, we talked a little bit about AMD possibly catching up a little bit to NVIDIA. One of the things that we discussed on Happy Hour yesterday is that, part of the NVIDIA selling here, it's really a thought of, well, how much more can I get? What's it actually going to take for NVIDIA to trade up 20% versus what would it take for AMD to trade up 20%? Looks like AMD has probably a little bit easier runway of doing that, and perhaps that can have investors shift their focus from NVIDIA to AMD. Did sound like the Investors Day was great. So, or at least positive for everything that they discussed. So let me know if you have a new trade here on AMD, or if you're looking for a new trade, or what you plan to do with your existing AMD position. All right, next here, bearish story on Tesla. Tesla actually closed at 439.62. It's currently at 442 and change here in the pre-market, so we're actually up in Tesla. But Gary Black is back. Gary Black, the managing director of Future Fund LLC, has a different take on the future of Tesla amid the company's recent indication towards autonomy and robots. Black took to X on Tuesday, and highlighted the decline in Tesla's global volumes and the company's shift towards unsupervised autonomy and humanoid robots. Black dismissed this as a fool's narrative, emphasizing that over 70% of Tesla's profits come from electric vehicles. From anyone that wants to go through Gary's tweet threads or any of the accompanying charts or graphs that he puts on there, that story's in the chat there for you. Black also criticized Tesla bulls for ignoring the rise of autonomous ride sharing in China, where Tesla lags behind local manufacturers. He questioned the justification of Tesla's high valuation given the competitive nature of the autonomous vehicle market. He concluded by stating, quote, "It's difficult to justify Tesla's forward PE of 200x plus in what is clearly a commodities business," he's referring to unsupervised autonomy, "where Tesla is one of many fighting for market share." Needham analyst Chris Pierce echoed Black's concerns and warned that half of Tesla's projected 2030 to 2035 gross profit depends on unproven businesses like ride sharing and robotics, leaving, quote, "limited valuation support," end quote, at the current levels. At the same time, Ross Gerber, co-founder of Gerber Kawasaki, cautioned in an interview that shifting Tesla's focus away from its core electric vehicle business, which he believes remains, quote, "wildly profitable," end quote, would be a strategic error for Musk's company. Black's comments come at a time when Tesla's stock is underperforming. The company's shares have been on a downward trend following reports of steep sales declines in China. Tesla's China sales plunged to 26,006 units in October, which represents a 35.8% drop from a year earlier and its weakest monthly performance in 3 years, according to data from the China Passenger Car Association. The company's market share also tumbled 3.2%, down from 8.7% in September, marking its lowest level since 2020. Meanwhile, Tesla registrations in 9 key European countries reportedly declined 36.3% year over year in October. Black's comments also followed the departure of Tesla's Cybertruck and Model 3 program manager, which has raised further concerns about the company's future prospects. So let me know, folks, do you think Tesla is entering a bear phase, going to trade down here? Or is this a reason to add? And also, I guess, as like a secondary thing, would want to know, do you still view Tesla as a car company, or maybe is this actually a technology company and trying to advance by doing other things like robots and autonomous driving? Hey, maybe we even get autonomous eVTOLs when we get that Roadster product demonstration. We'll see how that one all shakes out. Have to let me know what you folks think on Tesla. No surprise here. Elon strained his brand forever in the minds of many, and Trump screwed him in China. Okay. Next here, let's take a look at Oklo. I know that this is, sorry about that. This is another kind of a big winner and another popular stock amongst our group here. Here's what Oklo's chart looks like. Now, it is up 3.1% here today, looking at about 107. But we're going to start with the bigger picture here. Very clearly, a head and shoulders on this chart. Does look like the neckline here in between about 110, 111. And we are beneath that. I actually had this trend line extended out yesterday. Let me go ahead and resave that, because I'm sure we're going to be coming into play with this trend line here again. So looks like this wants to roll over. Looks like this really kind of wants to flush out. Looks like this wants to maybe go to the 200. Perhaps we can recapture the 200 and all of that, or break through it and then recapture it, really giving us the long side setup. If we take a look inside here on Oklo, this is what it looked like yesterday. We sold off down to the trend line that we have here. All right. We bounced off of that in the after hours, and then here in the pre-market we went green. So the big question for me is, are we going to retest any of that level lower? Are we going to roll back over and retest any of those lows? Or is this the actual bounce that's a multi-day move higher? I know that's what everyone wants to figure out here, because this is just kind of one of those trading stocks that's incredible if you end up catching that. So we'll see what direction Oklo goes here. Here is a little highlight on the report. Nuclear startup Oklo posted a loss of 20 cents per share for the third quarter, missing analyst estimates for a loss of 12 cents per share. The pre-revenue company reported operating losses of $36.3 million in the quarter, primarily driven by payroll, stock-based compensation, and general business expenses and professional fees associated with capital market activity. Oklo ended the period with $410 million in cash and cash equivalents and $773.5 million of marketable securities. Oklo broke ground on its first Aurora powerhouse in September. The company said its licensing under the Department of Energy's reactor pilot program is progressing. Oklo expects to begin controlled blasting of the site in mid-November, with full excavation expected to follow in January of 2026. Oklo announced Tuesday that it signed a memorandum of understanding with Batil Energy Alliance to expand collaboration on scientific and technological research and development on advanced fuel and materials. Quote, this collaboration strengthens U.S. leadership in advanced nuclear and demonstrates how Oklo's model of deploying fast reactors can also accelerate learning. That came from Jacob DeWitt, co-founder and CEO of Oklo. He goes on to say, we're building our first plant as a fully capable commercial product. We're also building it to learn faster, optimize faster, and keep driving down costs for future deployments. So that, I think, is going to be one of the key things here with this. And keep in mind, we've talked about this stock being overvalued, and perhaps this will be a big theme going forward. Probably needs a pullback before then. This is the first reactor that they're going to build there. So let me know what you think here on Oklo as well. And do you think that this represents another possible long side, or is this one of the stocks that maybe we can wait out in case there's a market pullback, or maybe a pullback in some of these momentum names? I will say, just again, to kind of reiterate there, the action yesterday, so very weak during the session, sold off into the close, and then ended up popping, and so far has held green here. I think, actually, if I go back to that, let's see what the options implied on that move. Options implied a 9.5% move. We got a 3.5% move. We got it here to the upside. Oklo was down 6.5% yesterday. So let me know what the trade idea looks like on Oklo. Okay. I did want to just, I want to mention two quick things before we bring on Tim Melvin, who is back this week, without a doubt. First one here is going to be retail sales. We kind of talked about this a little bit yesterday. ETF investors bet on retail revival as holiday spending set to hit record high. As the holiday season shifts into high gear, retail investors find a new cause for celebration. This year may prove to be one of the most lucrative on record for the sector, with the National Retail Federation forecasting that U.S. holiday sales will range from $1.01 trillion to $1.02 trillion. The mix of resilient consumer demand, early promotions, and now cooling inflation backdrop brings up optimism for another leg higher in retail-focused ETFs. I think the ones that we talked about yesterday were Nike. I think we talked about Lululemon. Walmart was brought up. Target was brought up. All of those actually looked like they had pretty good charts yesterday, or looked like they were trading up. Retail and consumer ETFs, bolstered by strong e-commerce growth and middle-income consumer spending, have thus far had a decent run in 2025, even as the markets continue to feel the uncertainty of the previous months. With Black Friday and Cyber Monday just a few weeks away, ETF investors are showing an increase in funds that combine the scale of big box retailers like Walmart and Costco, with the digital heft of companies like Amazon and Shopify. Among the top gainers so far this year, the VanEck Retail ETF, or RTH, has gained more than 14%, offering investors broad exposure of the world's retail titans, counting Amazon at 21.3%, Walmart at 9.3%, and Costco at 7.6% as its three largest holdings. RTH captures both online and in-store shopping trends. This compact portfolio of 25 large retailers offers a targeted way to play a seasonal boom, though it comes with a moderate 0.35% expense ratio. Meanwhile, the Global X e-commerce ETF, or EBIZ, has been a standout performer, up over 22% year to date. The fund taps directly into the relentless expansion of digital retail, holding names such as Shopify at 5.1% and Amazon at 4%. As shoppers spend more time on screens rather than on shelves, eBiz should continue to benefit from rising transaction volumes across various e-commerce platforms and logistics players supporting them. Its 50% or 0.50% fee, half of a percent, is a tad high, but its thematic focus on digital retail has rewarded investors handsomely this year. For those looking for stability rather than thrills, probably not our group, but for those that are looking for that, Vanguard Consumer Staples Index Fund ETF, or ticker VDC, is a more defensive play, with Walmart and Costco accounting for 14 and 13% of its portfolio, respectively. It serves as a good hedge against market volatility as it invests in essential products bought year-round. Its 0.09% fee puts it among the lowest in the industries. Whether it's a bet on e-commerce momentum or steady staples, ETFs offered a diversified way to recapture the holiday season exuberance without the risk of single stock missteps. As the U.S. edges towards a record-breaking $1 trillion shopping spree, ETF investors prove once again that sometimes diversification is the best deal on the shelf. Oh, my tariffs, though. I can't imagine how this is going to happen. LOL. Last story that I wanted to mention here real quick. There's not really a story. This is the actual PR. It has to do with IBM and the quantum theme that we have been talking about a lot recently. I'll go ahead and throw a link to the PR here in the chat for you. IBM has developed a new quantum chip, and I'm not going to go through the entire PR here because I do want to get to Tim Melvin. But a couple of things to note here, especially if you're bullish on quantum. Now, we'll see how stocks like Rigetti Spaghetti and the rest of the quantum names, IONQ and QUBT and all of that, we'll see how these respond to this. But basically, what they're saying here is that they're come up with a new quantum Nighthawk. I do like the name. I think the name is sweet. And it's going to It's going to processor built for quantum advantage will deliver circuits with 30% more complexity. So basically what they're going to be able to do is solve complex problems faster by increasing the qubits, the qubit gate, and the advantage here. There were a couple of things in here that I wanted to mention. There are many pillars to bringing truly useful quantum computing to the world. We believe that IBM is the only company that is positioned to rapidly invent and scale quantum software, hardware, fabrication, and error correction to unlock transformative applications. And we are thrilled to announce those milestones here today. So they go on to give some more stats for anyone that's interested in this. But basically, what they're saying here is, yeah, we're increasing the ability of this. We suspect we will be able to solve real world problems soon. I think the date that they give here, they talk about the end of 2025, but they talk about the end of 2026 as being able to solve some of these actual complex real world problems. That's been one of the drawbacks for some of the quantum names before. Sure, they're making advances. Sure, they're creating new things, but they can't really be used totally in real world applications. IBM saying that they anticipate to be able to do that sooner rather than later. We will see if this actually provides a boost to some of the other quantum names, or if this will be something for IBM specifically. And before we get to Tim Melvin, here's a look at your IBM chart. It is right near all-time highs. It actually looks like it wants to break out of this channel. This thing's been an absolute monster recently, which I can't believe I'm saying about IBM. But here we are. Might set some new all-time highs. Stock is up 1.5% here in the pre-market. All right, enough of me flapping my gums. It's time to get Tim on to flap his gums. We'll see what he is looking at here today. I got to find the right intro. Oh my goodness, where is it? Tim, good morning. How you doing here today?
Doing great, guys. Hope everybody didn't miss me too much. I certainly missed you guys.
I will speak for everybody on this. They definitely missed you last week. We, of course, covered, we made it work, but they missed you, Tim.
All right. Now, you always set the stage for me.
I do my best.
And you did. First off, let's tackle the retail sales number. Now, we've said for a while, okay, that retail sales are not as weak as the headlines are telling us. We've kind of known it. It's been consistently in the numbers. You take this with what's really happening in the jobs market, which is a lack of job creation, not big job weakness, okay? And you're making the case against interest rate cuts, which is very interesting to me. The economy is in better shape than anybody wants to give it credit for actually being. The bottom half is struggling. The bottom half always struggling. Then I see the comments about IBM being a Tim Melvin stock. You guys need to remember something. Those of you with long enough memories will remember, I told you a year ago that the winner of quantum was going to be either Google or IBM.
I believe you said that on this show, actually.
I did. That's exactly why I'm saying it. I said it on this show. Quantum's going to be a real thing. All these little companies are going to end up being owned by IBM or Google. I think one of the myriad of quantum competitors may become a real company, but it's only going to be one. So now, Ryan, back to the retail sales thing. And, you and I have different opinions on tariffs. I know that. I'm going to go with, Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs and I agree that the tariffs are a problem. And so far, companies have been eating about 50% of it. And but they expect that to change. So remember, they're not fully implemented. We'll see how it all plays out. One of us will be right. One of us will be wrong. But it is pressuring margins because everything you talked about in the ETF is true. Retail sales have been good. But do you know, Ryan, there's one of the sectors in the S&P 500 that is in a confirmed downtrend right now. Just one. Take a guess.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Consumer staples. Margins are getting squeezed.
Okay.
And so, layers to the story. Retail sales are good, but the tariffs are hurting. The tariffs, no matter how you do it, those tariffs get paid at the port by somebody, right? And it's whoever's bringing it in, whether they pass it on to the customer or not is theirs. But it has been, and Goldman did a really big report on this, it's been crushing margins for some of the players in here. So I do think it is going to be a good Christmas. We'll see when retailers continue. The dumbest thing on the planet is Black Friday. Okay, from an executive's point of view, there's nothing dumber than this. I'm going to accomplish two things, right? I'm going to royally piss off my workforce, right? And you want to. Nobody likes going to work on Black Friday, or the ones that open up on Thursday, and you got to leave your Thanksgiving dinner table. It's I hate it. And
You
then
got that right. I'll say real quick, Tim, when I was younger, I actually used to go on Friday to some of those store openings, and it always amazed me how many people are out there. There's a Bears game this Black Friday. I'll be damned if I get caught in a store.
There's no upside. You're not going to get the doorbuster that you got there to get. And if you try to get it, the only thing that you're going to prove is that a little old lady really can kick your butt all over Walmart. Okay. There's just no point going. It pays no. But from a retailer's point of view, right? Now, everybody's going to buy all this Christmas stuff anyway, right? Everybody's going to Christmas shop. We're going to buy the stuff for our families. It's going to get done. All we do as a retailer with Black Friday is we bring forward a month's worth of sales and we discount the hell out of it, right? Like the doorbusters, they make no money on those, but then everything that's marked down, they could have sold 2 weeks later at full price. So it doesn't really have this big favorable impact on sales, but it does kind of squeeze the margins. So anyway, that's enough on retail sales. I think it's going to be a great Christmas. I really do. Oklo, the nuclear boom.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just watching the comments, and everybody's talking about the technology and what they're doing.
I actually, you know what? I'm glad that you watched some of those because I didn't see any of the comments on Oklo as I was going through it.
Guys, if you're talking about Oklo's technology, and you're talking about the wrong thing, all right? These guys have no sales. They have hopes and dreams and plans, and so does every 8-year-old boy on the planet. They all want to either be the starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears or the center fielder for the New York Yankees. And Oklos are just about in the same place. Okay, you're years away from revenue. I'm excited to see that they're turning. I mean, this is a venture capital investment that really shouldn't be public yet. All right. Now, if you want to,
sounds like you think there's going to be a pullback at some point.
A pullback. There's going to be an absolute collapse and crash. In these
look, I was trying. Look, I was trying to be tame about it.
Yeah. Be aware when you are trading a pre-revenue company. Okay, you're trading the story. You're trading the chart. You most certainly are not investing in a viable business at this point in time. And that goes for SMR, that goes for Oklo, it goes for all of them. All right. You want to really invest in nuclear? Go take a look at the deal that Brookfield cut with Cameco. And oh, by the way, the United States government as a partner to fund and develop nuclear energy projects. That is the long-term winner in here. Okay. So anyway, off my high horse on that. Let's get around and talk about 13 Fs for a minute because they're coming, right? Friday's the deadline. We're going to see all the stories. We're going to care about what Warren Buffett bought. Kathy Woods will get some press. So will Bill Ackman. Some of the deep thinkers around, in the media might get to Daniel Loeb or David Einhorn. We'll talk about Druckenmiller, as we should usually. Maybe we'll talk about Tepper. Not enough people talk about Tepper. He's a value investor on steroids. But a lot of the press is going to go to the same stuff that we always talk about, and 10 million eyeballs are going to look at all the same filings. Now, and everybody's, by the way, is going to draw the wrong conclusions from a lot of this stuff. And let me give you an example. How many of you guys saw the recent articles on Michael Burry and the Big Short and how he did it again with Palantir, with the put options, and this is the top, and he's the genius, and he bought put options.
First of all, Tim, I can answer your question. Everyone here saw that because I covered that the morning after we got the note.
Now, it was a 13F filing, which means it was the period of July 1st to September 31st. They were put options. We don't know what strike, when, what expiration, although I think I have a clue about expiration I'm going to share with you in a second. We don't know anything about that trade except at some point in that 3-month period, he bought put options, right? For much of that quarter, the stock price was below the low that it hit on the sell-off the other day, meaning his options still aren't in the money.
That's right.
Here's the other thing about and everybody, the media, the internet, everybody went nuts drawing conclusions about Michael Burry's put option. Burry's been aggressive into options for a few years now. But if you go back and look at all the 13Fs, none of them carry over to the next quarter. Right? Like last quarter, he bought a whole bunch of options in the quarter that expired.
So basically what you're saying here is this is all a late reaction to
oh
something
my
that
God,
didn't work to begin with. He's still underwater.
right. And here's the thing: if you go back and you look at the previous quarter, he bought a bunch of call options on like ASML, Meta, BRKR, Baba, United Health. Hulu. He sold them all in the quarter. And if you go back to the last couple of years, he doesn't carry option positions over as a rule. Generally speaking, they're short-term trades. So you don't know what call he was making over what time frame, and yet everybody got all DJ Jazzy Jeffed about it like it meant something, and it meant nothing. Absolutely nothing. Now, if you pay attention to the big 13F filings, maybe you'll get some valuable information. You might catch a trade if you can get to Druckenmiller's before everybody else, right? Maybe, because Stanley Druckenmiller is one of the smartest guys on the planet. Same with Tepper. But most of it's going to be junk and garbage that is of very little interest or value to you. What Carl Icahn and Warren Buffett are doing with money at this point in time has nothing to do unless you happen to be a 90-some-year-old billionaire. Then by all means, pay attention and follow what they're doing. There's no value in something that 10 million other people have looked at and acted on. Okay? It's impossible in order for do that to for that to add a lot of value. So let's talk about some of the cool places we can look. First off, I'm going to touch on with you this morning because just looking at the filings as they came across, Aegis Financial. This is one of those obscure. What the hell are you talking about? I never heard of these guys. Who are they? Well, they're deep value guys, right? And they're very small, concentrated deep value guys. It's AEGIS, right? If you're looking for it. So the filing just came in this morning. These guys have shot the absolute lights out. They're one of the few funds anywhere that over the last 10 years, or almost any time period, has been able to hang a 20% annual rate of return. They're killing it last year, just absolutely crushing the market with a 52% return, 45 the year before that. And it is deep value. They do rely on book value a lot. I've interviewed these guys a couple of times over the years, and they've got some very cool buys this month, and it's almost all energy. It's we got a Synovus Energy, CVE, North American Construction is also infrastructure construction, which by the way is going to be huge. You want to take a look at that company, NOA, Precision Drilling, Galliano Gold for my gold bug friends. Again, a lot of the gold miners traded under book. Galliano was one of them. So this is the type of filing that you should be looking at. This is a relatively small money manager that's out of McLean, Virginia, not Wall Street, not downtown Chicago. Nobody's ever heard of it. They've got an entire 13F value of $261 million. Right? This is off the radar screen. But then one place that I want to talk about that nobody looks is when we come to investing in the future of transportation. There's lots of people that talk, the venture capitals do a lot. The most successful investor in the space, Ryan, do you have any idea who it is?
No, I don't. Not off the top of my head.
Over the last 5 years, it's been Toyota.
Oh, wow. I would not have. You could have given me 500 guesses, and right. I probably wouldn't have got that.
What most people don't realize is there's a lot of operating companies out there that they accumulate positions worth over $100 million, right? And it's not in their pension fund. It's not in one of their, endowment or research funds that are reported separately by the money manager. So it's a direct holding of the corporation. So when you look, Toyota over the last several years, and I'll just tell you because it came up, they're killing the market. It's a 2-to-1 rate of return. They own 5 stocks, and you guys are going to recognize them. Understand that they've owned them from long before they were popular. They own Joby, Joby. They own Grab, which is a Southeast Asian company.
And that just reported earnings, I believe.
I find this company absolutely fascinating. Pony AI, Pony. They've had Uber.
We've traded that a bunch of times.
They've had Uber forever. And Aurora Innovation, which if you held a gun to my head and said, Tim, you've got to buy one autonomous vehicle stock and you got to hold it forever, this would be it. And they're doing autonomous trucking at this point, but they're way ahead of most of their competitors. So that's their 5 stocks, and they've been absolutely killing it. So, forget, what did Fidelity buy or what did, by the way, if you pay any attention to what Fidelity and Vanguard are buying, or you write about it in an article or mention it as something important, shame on you. They're meaningless. They're index funds. So
I escaped that one today. I haven't done any of that stuff.
You haven't done any of that today.
I'm innocent on that one.
You're innocent. You're ahead. Okay. Now the other company that's fascinating, because they've been really, really aggressive over the years about investing in technology companies. And they invest in them directly. Remember, these are held not in their pension fund, not in their retirement plans. They're not held by an outside manager. The company owns these directly. That's Amazon. Okay, now Amazon, and I saw somebody said today, advanced micro devices is a short, and I've heard IO&Q mentioned. What I find interesting is that Amazon was a seller of both of those in the quarter. They have positions in those. But when I go and I look at their holdings, they didn't buy anything new, but Amazon has sizable positions in Astera Labs, ALAB, Marvell Technology, we all know that one, MRVL, Nautilus Biotechnology. Now that's fascinating.
Was there a ticker on that one?
Yeah, NAUT, that Amazon owns a large biotech company. Rivian, of course, RIVN, SmartRent, SMRT, Vital Farms, that's weed if I'm not mistaken, VITL. So you look and you start to ask yourself, why does Amazon own these stocks? And they're not small positions. So that's just kind of interesting. That and then
so really quickly here, Vital. When I looked at this and I was like, a $30 wheat stock. Well, how have we missed this? Company. It's an ethical food company. Retail.
Okay, I've got it mixed up with another company.
Eggs and butter. And it's
okay, that's even stranger than the weed for Amazon to buy this.
Well, at least we got that sorted out.
Okay, well, we did get it sorted out. So, but anyway, if you go through the filings of like NVIDIA, they haven't filed yet, but they filed. They have a nice collection of holdings. So pay attention to what some of these companies are having their 13Fs, because these are operational and technology investments. They're very forward-looking for the most part. And you do have to ask yourself, why in the hell does Amazon own Vital Farms? Whether it's weed or eggs, it's a strange thing for Amazon to own. So kind of some interesting questions there. So just going through the ones that the companies own. And then the other one is universities. Now, universities, when they own stock, often it was a gift from a successful employee. We have a few of those. Often, in the case of Harvard, this is very true, and Yale and some others, they funded the research. So they got stock back as part of the grant or loan guarantee program. There's some really interesting ones, like Vanderbilt University, and I found this one fascinating. Vanderbilt has a massive, and I do mean massive for the size of the university, portfolio, internally owned, not in the pension, not in the retirement plan. For some reason, Vanderbilt has a $600 million portfolio, primarily of REITs. So somebody at Vanderbilt, and the Harvard of the South, or whatever it is we call it, is buying a lot of real estate, and they're buying some interesting names. They're buying Health Peak Properties, DOC, Elme Communities, ELME, Invitation Homes. For those of you that really hate, private equity and REITs being in single-family homes, this is the poster child. They own Curbline Property, so it's really interesting to look in here and say, okay, these are interesting ownerships. They own Taiwan Semiconductor in the same portfolio. So why does Vanderbilt suddenly buying all this real estate? It's a great question. The answer could make you some money. But then one of the fascinating ones is Stanford's, because Stanford is seen as that great bastion of liberal thought. If anybody disagrees with me, I'd love to hear your opinion on it. It's located near San Francisco. It's right, the feeder school for Silicon Valley. But when I look in their portfolio, and let me just pull up Stanford's portfolio here, they're really heavy buyers of energy. They own Viper Energy, VNOM. They've been a buyer of that. They own a lot of biotech too, by the way, which you would expect. And if I wanted to buy biotech, the first place I would go is to the university filings, like Stanford, like Harvard, like Yale, like Massachusetts Institute of Technology, which has not filed yet, and I would be looking into that. But the really interesting thing to me was the amount of energy filings that I found in the Stanford filing. They own Kimball Royalty Partners. They own a couple ETFs that are energy related. So I just found it fascinating that this bastion of liberal thought is actually a pretty serious energy investor. Also, and it's like
What's funny about that too is that it seems to be oil and gas. That Viper is oil and gas.
Well, it's all oil and gas. None of it's renewable. It's
Okay.
Kimball Royalty Partners is an oil and gas royalty, and they have a pretty nice position in one of my favorites, Blackstone Minerals, which is one of the largest oil and gas royalty companies.
Day trader will pick a bone with you though. Berkeley is the liberal one. Stanford is much less so. Stanford is just a bunch of old money.
Karl Marx is less liberal than Berkeley, but yes, you're right. And the University of California for the system actually files a 13F they have not filed yet this quarter. But everybody's more liberal than nobody's more liberal than Berkeley. It's not. I don't think it's possible. When you walk through the streets of Berkeley, you feel like you're somewhere else. You really do. You're not in the United States of America anymore. And I haven't been there in a long time, but I'm told that it's actually worse today than it was back when I went there.
Yeah, I think the last time that I was in Berkeley, I think I was like 17. It was a long time ago.
It's been a while for me. I mean, but I'm told that it's like worse now. They've gone from just where they have the signs in the windows telling you how bad a person you are, that they jump right out and get in your face to tell you how bad a person you are. Now,
isn't there rioting going on there right now? I believe.
I don't think there's ever been a period of time where there wasn't at least a small riot somewhere at Berkeley, but I hadn't seen anything specific this week. Now, one other energy related topic that I want to touch on before I disappear off and 13 comes in and talks about stuff y'all really care about, is Gavekal Research came out with a report this morning. Louis Gave talked on energy now, and basically what they said is the U.S. and the West has made a massive mistake in our energy policy. We've focused entirely too much on funding popular energy, and we've turned away from the cheapest sources of energy, which are natural gas and coal. Now, the U.S. is beginning to correct that to some degree. Parts of Europe are, but there's still this massive overcommitment to energy sources other than traditional fossil fuel. Now, he makes some very good points. Energy shows up everywhere, right? There's nothing you do in your life that doesn't involve energy, whether it's your heating bill, the gasoline pump, whatever it is. It's a drag on economic activity. It drains liquidity out of the system, and it can create political instability, as we all know. The big question in energy is AI and data centers, right? This is going to be huge. There's no way to downplay how much energy is going to be used by AI and data centers. So, while we have a ever shrinking advantage in AI technology over China, and it is shrinking, don't kid yourself. They're catching. It's not that we're doing worse, it's that they're catching up. All right. where they're so far ahead of us that it could lead to them beating us, Ryan, not only at AI, but at quantum computing and some other things that come along. Um, China's killing us in electrical generation, right? They
Aren't they opening new coal-fired power plants
they
like today?
they do burn everything, right? Yes,
And
they're opening.
they're still ramping more.
They're ramping more coal, ramping more gas. They've started building nuclear power plants years ago. They have more plants in construction than anybody else in the world.
Yeah.
Their friends in India are next in line on that. We're down at the zero line. So cheap, abundant electricity is the key to the technology race of the future.
Yep.
And they may beat us. And I know people hate hearing that, but it's a fact. They could beat us just because they have the power to go further, and we don't.
Yep.
So Gave says, look, we got a couple choices. We can accept losing the AI lead. That sounds like, to be honest, it has no pleasant outcome for the United States to lose that. Roll out AI and just let electricity prices go higher. And that'll lead to a change of party really quick. You will lose every election that you ever think about having if you're in office when that happens. You can, and this is one that we're seeing, and this is smart, encourage big tech, energy intensive industries to locate in jurisdictions with cheaper energy. The smart way to do that is to build your firm near the big natural gas fields, near the solar farms, right? In areas where you could get away with building a nuclear reactor without a lot of people getting upset about it. Now, what we've done is probably going to end up being a massive historical mistake. All right. We are courting the Middle East as a place to put data centers and some of these energy intensive technology industries. Huge mistake. The Middle East is not exactly stable. Okay. The power lines there shift very, very quickly. So this may not end up historically being the best idea to take our high cost energies and move them from China to the Middle East. Could be frying pan to the fire, but we'll see. The other way, find a way to rapidly reduce energy prices. Go back to natural resources, burn more coal, whether you like it or not, and treat nuclear energy the way we should be treating nuclear energy, like we treated the Manhattan Project back in the 1940s as the most important national priority to get these plants funded up and running. We're nowhere near that today. So anyway, I just threw that out there because if you sit down and you think through that, it creates a massive amount of opportunities in natural gas, in certain select electrical utilities, actually in coal too. Check out ARLP. It is an MLP. It pays a K1. Either deal with it or be a sissy and don't buy it because you hate the tax implications. It's a 10% dividend yield. They own coal mines all over the United States, but they're also investing in some cool stuff, right? They are making investments in renewable energy. They've got some excess electrical generation capacity, and you guys are going to love this. They're mining Bitcoin and renting the other capacity to Bitcoin miners. So you've got this old line, big coal company. They're also buying oil and gas royalty land. So anyway, there you go, guys. It's just a whole bunch of really cool stuff going out there. Energy is going to be big. And by the way, if you looked in the Aegis Energy filing, they're killing it, right? They are not going to cover off the ball. Really energy and resource heavy, because I'm starting to think that's the next big thing.
Okay. Do you have any like favorite tickers that you're looking at for this?
Well, I mean, ARLP.
ARLP besides this one. Yeah. Okay. I was just wondering.
On the natural gas, I mean, I'll throw a few out there. I probably shouldn't, but we'll give them to you. CTRA, Quarterra Energy. If you go in and you look at Crescent Energy, CRGY, that's a partnership between the old Contango Oil and Gas and KKR's energy division. They merged. So they're doing a lot of roll up and buying in the space. Really love the infrastructure plays here. Plains All American, PAA, Kinder Morgan, KMI. And look, guys, a lot of them are MLPs. All right. Just don't buy them in your IRA. That's a mistake.
Yeah.
because of unrelated business taxable income. But just suck it up, guys. In most cases, the dividends are treated as a return on capital, so you're not going to pay tax on it until your cost basis is eaten away, which takes a number of years. And look, the K1s are a pain in the butt. I know it. You know it. Every time I've filed a K1 in my life, I've gotten an amended one back after I mailed my tax return in. So they can be a pain, but the returns here are absolutely worth it because the infrastructure that gets oil and gas from point A to point B has never been more important in the last 50 years. And it's just going to be a tremendous investment opportunity. So,
okay. One more really quick question here. And this is because this actually stems from a discussion that we were having with the happy hour groups. I think this was several days ago at this point. Hey, Tim, are you seeing repurposing of industrial plants for AI data centers like Alcoa, for example?
you're seeing some, but it's limited. Most of what you're doing is being rebuilt because, I mean, these are built to, you'd have to gut the entire inside of the facility to turn it into a data center. So I think we've seen some, and I've heard a little bit of discussion, but most of what I'm seeing is new build. And I know that Baker Hughes and a couple other energy companies are specifically saying, look, build it down here by the Permian. We're gonna handle the hookup for you. And that's becoming a whole business.
Okay. Interesting. So then location to like an actual energy source seems to be more important than maybe repurposing some of these old buildings. This is still something I think we should take a look at, though.
Yeah.
But that's good info. If you're seeing new builds just massively ahead of maybe retrofitting some of these older buildings, that's good information.
And somebody just asked me my opinion on AMD, and I'm just going to tell you that I don't really have one because it hasn't hit my radar screen. And you know, if you get to know me, you'll figure out if it hasn't hit my radar screen, meaning it hasn't come up in my screens for my criteria, either on the value or momentum side, I don't really care. It's you know, I don't have the bandwidth to pay attention to everything. So at this point in time, I don't have an opinion on AMD, but I know Amazon's selling it.
Okay. All right. Tim, good stuff. We appreciate it as always.
All right, guys. I shall be back next Wednesday. And Ryan, I think you and I have a webinar next Tuesday. I think. Tuesday.
Yeah, we're gonna do one of those on Tuesday. We haven't really discussed content for that, but
yeah, we have. Yeah, we've already did. What we're going to talk about, guys, is the market's getting pricey. We know that.
Oh no, we did talk about this one already. Yeah, that's right. We're going to look for bear market bombs, right? That's what we call them.
Bear market bombs, right? These are the stocks that if and when this goes bad, you do not want to own them because the story and the dream will quickly turn into an absolute nightmare. So we're going to identify a bunch of those stocks and show you how to use Pro to keep the bombs out of your portfolio. Yeah,
you know what? I'll talk about that a little bit next week too. Monday and Tuesday before we actually do that, Tim. I'll mention that again. That was a really good reminder.
Okay.
Really good reminder. All right. Take care of yourself, Tim.
Have a great day, everybody. Thanks. See ya.
We always will. That is Tim Melvin. Good stuff every Wednesday, except for some Wednesdays where he can't make it, but he's back. We're going to keep kicking butt. His departure leaves room for 13. Let's bring him on. 13. Happy Wednesday. How you doing, boss?
Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing really good. Ready to roll here. You want to dive into some of the movers first?
Yeah, we can do that. It's just that I keep going through some of these, and as soon as I start reading into them, it's like, oh, okay, well, there's nothing here. Oh, okay, well, there's nothing here. So it's kind of a little bit of that today. But let's start diving in and see if we can make something out of nothing.
Okay, first one here, CMCT. There is something here.
Yeah.
Okay. Creative Media and Community Trust shares are trading higher if the company announced an agreement to sell its lending division to PGFR Holdings. Now, here's the key part about, first of all, you can see the huge pop here. Stock's up 90%. It was up over 100% earlier. Here's the key part here. They're selling they have three divisions of this company: office, commercial, and the lending division, and they're selling the lending division for $44 million. Now, 13, I can't wait to hear what you think about this. The cap on this company is only $3.7 million, and I took a very quick look at their financials, didn't really dive deep, but I took a quick look at their financials. They have a little bit of cash on hand, but realistically, they burn through this cash every quarter. So I think that selling this, maybe they don't need money right away, but unless something changes here, they're going to down the road. So as far as an offering goes, I'm not sure if we're going to necessarily be on the hook for one right away. Here's what the chart looks like. 11 is the clear resistance area. We've basically came back down towards 840. We recaptured the VWAP. Love to see the volume holding up and actually gain a little bit as we get ahead of the open. Would love to see how this does when the actual market opens here. This, to my eye here, sure looks like we are probably going to try that high again.
Yeah, 1080 is coming up here. It looks like pretty soon. Sorry to cut you off. I just want to make sure I got that in before it started to go while you were talking.
Yeah, which has happened already this week. So okay, I'm almost
there it is. There it is. We just hit 10. We're going higher. Sorry, I'm sorry to cut you off again, but this is what I was.
So 980 is what you were saying, not 1080.
No, 1080. 1080 is what I'm looking for. So if you look at the chart, look at the highs that we made. It's 1107, but we have not had any closes above there. As soon as we get up to the 1080 level, we get rejected with some slight prints over it. 1080 is the resistance level I'm looking for. We could break out of that level.
Okay, so here we are. Looks like we're going to test 10 first. We'll see what the volume does for that. All right, I will really hurry up because 13's chomping at the bit here. 8.77% of the float shorted with 1.08 days to cover. Average volumes, this thing basically doesn't trade. 43,000 shares. Today it's traded 27.5 million. Float here, I'll go check the float as I always do, but float here under $1 million at 752,000. So 13, what are you thinking here? I know you just gave us one of your levels here, but what else are you thinking here about CMCT?
Before they had this deal, they had about 2 quarters of cash. After this deal, they're gonna it's for 44 million, but they're using the proceeds to take care of a lot of debt. After that, they're going to be left with 31 million. So that's going to be their new, essentially their new cash balance that they're going to, be able to work with from that point on.
And that gives them roughly about 2.5 quarters worth. Yeah.
So I don't think that they're going to need to do a capital raise after this deal. This doesn't seem likely. Now they may down the road. That's certainly a possibility. But right now, I mean, they're taking care of debt. I think they had some outstanding balance from a securitized loan. So they're taking care of that. So that's what the whole purpose of this the sale is, to manage debt, raise some capital, and continue on with their day-to-day.
Okay, and now as far as the float goes, here's what the float looks like. We do have a very similar float reading here from FinViz. We have over 11 million from Yahoo, over 10 million from Wall Street Journal, and Dilution Tracker has nothing for us. So I am still going to treat this as a low float stock. We'll see how it trades here today. Really, this is going to come down to the volume.
It's trading great. It's taking, it's having a hard time getting up to that 1080 level, but I still think we hit it. Whether or not we break through it or not, that's what I'm not sure about. But if we have this kind of volume and we have this low float, it certainly seems like we could get through it. So we'll probably end up getting that closer to the open, but could still happen in the pre-market.
Okay, sounds good. Next here is going to be SLRX. This is Salarius Pharmaceuticals. You can see at the opening of the pre-market here, this thing traded up to 3. Actually, it looks like it went a little bit higher than that, 303, and is backed off. We've almost round-tripped this entire move. Sad trombone. Yesterday, SLRX reported that shares were trading higher after the company announced the pricing of a $7 million underwritten public offering. And so here's what you had. Really sold off out of the open, came down here to about $1, held on to that. Today it popped back to 3, but pretty much bled everything back here. $1.35. Now I'll let 13 go through the financials on this one. Short interest, very high, 34.27% of the float shorted here, 3.57 days to cover. So we're not quite at our 5-day threshold, but still elevated there. On average, the stock trades 357,000 shares a day. Today, it's traded almost 43 million ahead of the open. Float on this is 1.05 million. What do you think on this one, 13?
Well, I think they've got the money now. Well, they're going to. 7 million is what the offering was, and that's for warrants and commons. So I don't think that they're going to need to raise capital at any point soon now because they just did it. They have cash. They did have a high short interest with, it didn't really meet the days to cover criteria, but it was still pretty close. So I think what ended up happening here is we did get the news of the offering, and it just sank and went sideways for the whole day. And then because of well, I did have a high short interest reading earlier. Yeah, the high short interest is 34% with a few days to cover. So I think as a result of this being down so low, we got a squeeze this morning, and now it's just giving that all back. So I'm not sure how much of this price action we're going to get right now, or today. We could trade back up to the VWAP where it's been getting rejected since it lost it again. So that would be the next area that I'd be keeping an eye on if we are going to get this to turn around and go higher. Is this what happens with VWAP? Other than that,
Okay.
I don't think there's really anything else here. It already had the downside movement, and it's just we're just playing the recovery at this point.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there. We'll see if this can get back above VWAP. Chart doesn't look great. Volume looks like it's mostly selling volume. We'll see where this ends up settling if it does. VSIG next on the list here. This is one that we've traded a whole bunch before on this show. VSIG popped here in the pre-market. OOB token debuts on Kraken following VSIG's US $100 million acquisition. That's the news that you have here. We did pop above the VWAP, came back in. We've been unable to take that out. If you want some more information on here, do we have this one? Let me actually check the digital asset treasury. I believe that we do. Yeah, VSIG is on here, if I'm not mistaken.
And we will get to on. I wrote that one down too.
Yeah, that one's in earnings. We'll definitely get to that. That's next on the list, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry, I'm looking at a different screen here. In any case, OOB token, not one I'm familiar with. Obviously, it's debuting here. That's what's popping the stock. We're up about 25% on this one. Quick look at the short interest, 5.18% of the float shorted with 1 day to cover. It's got 2.5 mil of average volume today. It's way over that. Float about 6.5. Here's the thing on VSIG. Let's take a look at its the history here, right? So when this thing trades up, a lot of the times, all of the action's done pretty early, and it likes to come back in. Now, we did have a recent day right here where it seemed like the move was a little bit delayed. This was what, Monday, November 10th. Seems like the move actually came in the regular session, but still we got the same action. Got a nice little pump there. Downside move really didn't give much till the end of the day. So just be careful here on VSIG. Look at its history. Look how this is traded before. 13, what do you have on VSIG today?
Yeah, so I don't have a good angle on the whole, tokenization of their of what they got going on, their digital treasury. I'm not well versed in that, so I don't know how great this news is. So I'll just go to the technicals on this one. And we do have a trend line here we can draw from the price action that we had this morning that took us up to 225. We lost VWAP after that. Did come back above it about 45 minutes ago, but could not hold above it. We actually got a little bit of resistance from some of the supply that we were trading up into. So that area between about 160 to looks like about 180, that's going to be a resistance zone of supply. So even if we do break over this trend line that you may have drawn from the highs, so I would just do it from the pre-market.
Just today, not yesterday's. Got it.
You could do yesterday's. If that'll give you a secondary target to go for, since it'll be a higher trend line than the one that you're drawing now. Yeah,
this is kind of what I was thinking. This just to me. I mean, I don't know if we're going to end up going here, but there we go. We'll add both of them.
Yeah. So the first thing I want to see is just to get above this trend line here. We're just going sideways into the open. As long as we hold above, I would say the 65 EMA, we have a good chance of getting above 65. So this is just one of those. We'll have to wait and see what happens. I don't think the volume has been too great going into the open here. A lot of it came earlier in this pre-market.
All right, real quickly here, Bernhard saying VSIG, my cost is $213.20 because of the reverse splits.
Oh, geez, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry too. Just be careful. I think, and actually, what I'm really sorry about is I actually think that this happened because of a discussion on Happy Hour where we talked about VSIG. We talked about it having a reverse split coming up. The play was for the split only. So anyway, sorry about that. And then Brian said VSIG on my never again list. Must have had a bad experience there. I understand that though. I put stocks on the never again list too after I had a bad experience. So I haven't
had a good experience with this one, but I haven't traded it since. And I feel like I should have been trading it because it did provide some good opportunities. But once some of these real speculative names, we get the trade out of them, we just kind of don't look at them again.
Yeah. And I mean, this one we kind of figured, this is not great anyway. All right. Next here, something that is actually really good. And this thing does, I agree with you guys. This definitely has some steam, definitely has some juice here. This is ON, excuse me. On Holding shares are trading higher after the company reported Q3 earnings and revenue above estimates and issued full year 25 sales guidance above expectations. Now, here's the thing. So the EPS 54 cent, that beat the 20 cent estimate. Sales of 993 billion beat the 939 million estimate. So you see this huge move. Here was the move on the earnings. Then it basically just traded sideways, and now a huge move on way more volume here. This has got to be the conference call, no? It says that it's concluded here, but there must have been something on the call.
The sector peers are getting a lift out of this too. So I just was looking at Lulu, Nike, Under Armour. I'm sure Adidas. They're all kind of up. Now I'm not saying that they're all up because of this news, but it does kind of help lift other names in the sector because they're all in the same ETFs. So I think that's what you're getting a little. I just was looking at some of the other ones, but as far as Lulu, as On goes, this is more just like a shoe brand, right? I don't know a whole lot about this one. I know we traded this before. We talked about it. I just don't know what all their products are. It's shoes, right?
Yeah, yes. These are actually, I use these shoes. These are like performance running shoes.
Okay.
It's active footwear. They might make other products. The only one I'm familiar with are the actual shoes themselves. They're in my hallway. It's what I use every day.
Well, this is a timely reversal that it's having right now because the daily chart looks like it was about ready to go lower.
Here, I'll go to actually a bigger daily chart here so we can see some of the levels. The big thing here for me on this one was that this popped above the 50-day moving average. Let me actually bring it up here. Today's pop, the secondary pop, the bigger one that we're seeing here, actually took us above the 50. And I actually think that this might be a key level here. 50-day moving average at 41.80, right? So here's what today's move looks like. It is taking us here. We're at 43.50. So we're right in here. We are above the 20, above the 50, and we are still shy of the 100 and the 200 here. Does look like there's a little bit of like this consolidation area, top end of the range there at 46. So we'll see if that provides any type of resistance for it here. But we also popped above the 500. We've actually since bled back a little bit, but we were above that earlier. So where does this stock close in relation to some of those other moving averages? That's gonna matter here.
Yeah, we do have. So good point about the 500. It looks like 44 is a pretty interesting spot. I think that's where the price ran up to on the just recently. Let's see here.
44.10 is the high print that I have in the pre-market.
Yeah, that looks like the next big level to get over. Now, if we don't get over that, then we're going to want to look for some levels to the downside. On a daily chart, I like the 50-day estimate, but let me go to my broker's platform here. We have the VWAP, that's at 41.15. So that would be a big spot to watch for. And then interestingly, 39 looks like a real big support area too, because you have that demand zone from the pre-market following the open that popped it up to 39. We just kind of went sideways for several hours, or a couple hours, I think, before we finally broke out at 8:30. So if we do come back in, I'm going to want to see not only the VWAP hold up, but if that doesn't, then that demand zone area where the 65 EMA is. So 38.65 would be the next area beneath VWAP I would want to see support.
Okay. All right. So a couple of things here. Lombardo Trade saying they have clothing as well, sports clothing. My high school age daughters love it.
Okay.
So I've actually
another bros, maybe another bros.
So I've actually heard the same thing. In fact, when I went to go try these on, the other thing that I wanted to mention here, because this actually ties into it, Jay Rice mentioning they must be taking share from Hoka, which is owned by DEC. This is 100% true. And in fact, I told you the story here about how I was trying out new running shoes and I tried out Hoka, and Hoka are absolute garbage. They wear like spaghetti noodles. I don't even get a full 2 months out of them before I've worn through to the actual padding of the shoe. They're horrific by comparison to ON. I'm sorry to bring that kind of hyperbole here, but man, it is no contest. These shoes way better built. And it's funny too, because when I went into the shoe store to actually try these on prior to ordering them, I can always get better deals online, but I wanted to try the shoe on first. I was actually helped by a couple of people that worked in the store that were probably high school or college age girls, and they were raving about how much they like ON stuff, and they liked it mostly for how it looked. It seemed like more of a popular thing. So kind of going back to that 13, when you got all excited about bros and the younger generation really kind of being one of the catalysts that drive some of these stock prices, it definitely seems like ON fits that criteria. I understand I don't have like pages of data here, but I'm going just off anecdotal stuff. You're 100% correct. My experience is the exact same as Lombardo Trades here. And as far as Jay's talking about stealing share from Hoka, yeah, you can hold the two shoes. Speaking of Seinfeld references, the Hoka shoe looks like the Jimmy shoe. It looks like that jumping big Jimmy shoe from Seinfeld. All you Seinfeld nuts will know exactly what I'm talking about. ON shoes, much more sleek, modern, the whole 9 yards. Okay, now the other question here, Izzy's just cutting right to it. Would you add ON on dips? The one thing that I'll say here, I want to know what happened in this conference call, because clearly it caused a reaction here in the stock, not just for the price, but for the volume as well. I'd like to go through that. I'll try and poke around here. I'll keep my eyes on Twitter streets in case something comes across the wire here. And eventually we're going to have transcripts here in Pro. So once that happens, I'll use the power of AI to help very quickly derive insights from those transcripts. We'll get there. But for right now, I got to think with some of this. Yeah, I think, Izzy, just to kind of answer your question here, if this pulls back to the VWAP, I'd be interested. We also had an upgrade here. You're talking about the all-time high of 64. Telsey Advisory maintained a $65 price target. So they're telling you that they think this is going to new all-time highs. Buy rating from Telsey, $65 price target.
That would be an interesting series of price action because the breakout spot's going to be about 60. It's going to be just above that. So, because we came up to 64 ish, came down to where we were at just before this earnings, went back up to 60, came back down. We're just kind of back and forth, and so I'm thinking that we just reversed off our floor, and we're looking for that ceiling of 60 again. And this next visit could be a breakout. I don't know how long it's going to take. I mean, from 60 just this year, we hit that in May, and it took us all this time to get down here. So it could be a while before we get back up to 60, but that's going to be an important spot once we get there.
Yeah. Okay. Day trader here saying so subjective. I had a pair of ONs. They just never did it for me. I got my new Hoka Cliftons and we'll see how long they last. Good luck, brother. I hope you have a better, I don't even care if I'm right on this. I hope that you have a better experience than I did. I had Cliftons. I had the same model shoe that you had. They did not last 2 months. To me, that is a non-starter. I understand everyone's foot is a little bit different. I'm very much like Buffalo by Bicycle. As a heavy runner, I wear shoes out quickly. I wear all my shoes out quickly. It's absolutely something that I have to think about. I will never purchase a Hoka product again. In fact, it was so bad. I actually went through Hoka's warranty to get a new pair of shoes. They actually, to their credit, they gave me a credit and I was able to buy a new pair of shoes. I got a different model than the Cliftons that I had. It was the exact same thing.
A shoe warranty.
I don't know if it was, I claimed that it was a defect because I was like, I've never had a pair of shoes wear this fast in my life, like never. And they gave it to me. And after the second pair wore out just as fast, I said, you know what? I'm not even going to waste my time anymore.
That's a new one for me. I've never heard of anybody warranting their shoes. So I got to give it to you, man. That's great. You got that.
I like I said, I mean, they did make the process easy. They gave me a gift card. I ordered directly from their website. So it wasn't that bad or it wasn't a bad process. It was fairly easy, but the product ultimately is what matters. And the reality is that everyone's shoe is different. There are people out there that swear by Nike shoes. They don't even fit on my feet. So it's different for everybody. ON, one of those brands, absolutely love them. Will continue to buy them. For whatever it's worth, I used to be a New Balance guy, which I still like. But anyway, we'll see if we do have a trade here. I will be watching this, Izzy. I'd be curious to know. And Jay, you're right. This absolutely ripped on the call. So I do want to figure out what ripped on what was said that caused it to rip. 13, you were saying other stocks were moving in sympathy of this. First one that I wanted to check was Deckers. This is the Hoka one that Jay brought up here. This is actually higher.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually higher. So even if they are taking market share, it looks like whatever they said lifted the entire group.
It's just a sector lift, I think. So, you got Nike that's up. You got United Armour that's slightly up. Lulu is slightly up. Basically, all the apparels are slightly up.
Okay. Let me go. Sorry, that was kind of covered that quite a bit here. Was there any? Oh, I know you want to talk about Lucy, don't you?
Sure.
I was going to say, this is one of the stocks here. Okay. Lucy, innovative eyewear. This actually popped yesterday, just a little bit above 220. We've come back in here today. We've used the VWAP as resistance. So that right away sets up our first key level here. We want to be able to get above that VWAP. I don't have any fresh news from this.
Doesn't look like it. No, I don't know what it's moving on, or if some other eyewear company had, some kind of news that's causing this to go. There's only a handful of them that I can think of. Let's see if Vuzix is one of them. I don't think it is. They have earnings tomorrow, so probably not them. Maybe some news with Meta. I don't see anything that would. No, I don't know what Lucy's going on. So couldn't tell you. Maybe there's probably something out there. We just aren't able to find it at the moment.
Anyway,
Meta just spiked for some reason.
220 the high. Actually, I'm seeing a couple of things spike here. Ondas is spiking. Palantir spiking down. Apple kind of reversed.
Yeah, but don't have a reason why Lucy is up, even though they they're one of the eyewear companies that's going to be competing with the Meta AI glasses. Let's look at their finances. And I don't even know if we're going to be able to trade this, because all it's done since it ran up, what was this, really early this morning, is just sell off. And we just been going sideways. So don't know what we're going to be able to get out of this. 6 million shares traded this morning. It's been beneath VWAP for a majority of the morning since we lost that level for this, slightly after 4. The 200 EMA is going to be the only support that I see, and then it's back down to start. So got to recapture the 65 EMA and VWAP.
Okay. Did you have anything else on your list?
Nope.
Okay. The only other one I had here was Huma. This is Humacyte. Looks like they reported earnings here this morning. They're up by 10%. Missed on sales, beat slightly on EPS, driving the stock a little bit higher here. Still looks like we're at a resistance area, about 150-ish. Okay. I'm going to flip over to the main workspace here. We'll get ready for the open.
There was another company that it kind of fell off the radar, but it seems like it's just sideways at the moment. I didn't think it really was worth taking a look at, but I'll just mention it anyway. FTC Solar, since it was being asked about.
Okay, well, here, I'll put it on screen. FTC, what?
Solar. It's
FTC Solar. Got it. FTCI. Yeah. I'm going to put it on screen here, 13. I'm going to go to the washroom prior to the open. I'll be right back.
Okay, sounds good. So FTCI, this one, apparently they had earnings this morning. They didn't lose as much money as was expected. They did have much better revenue, and they also guided higher. So that's great. And it's hopefully they can make some kind of profitability in the future. Right now, this is trying to turn back up towards its VWAP. Now, this might get going if it recaptures the VWAP, but we do have some resistance up at the 1050 area. It doesn't look like we quite. So 1109 is the high, and we immediately got rejected on that print, and it spent about 30 minutes trying to get back up to the, over 10, pushing up towards 1050. Couldn't quite get up there. I think it was just a few cents shy, and then it came back down underneath VWAP again. So that's going to be a bit of a resistance area where it popped up to, and then also, of course, the VWAP. If I do a trend line here with this one, it doesn't look like we can really draw too much from that since we've already passed where that trend line intersects. So I would just lean on a recapture of the VWAP as being the next thing that needs to happen. Otherwise, it's back down to the 65 EMA for this one.
Good timing. Look at that, dude.
All right.
Got back right at the right time. Okay.
And we have less than 2 minutes left, actually 1:20. So
perfect.
What should we be looking at as we approach the open here?
Well, I do want to take a look at ON. I'm interested in that. And these, I think there might be a trade here. Someone else mentioned that there was news on Bull.
I saw that there was some news.
I didn't see it.
It wasn't moving anything. They just
Strategic partnership with
yeah.
Meritz Financial Group to broaden access to global markets and enter South Korea.
Yep.
Okay, so they're expanding the markets that you have access to.
You're right.
Doesn't seem to be a mover, though.
You're right about on. It just blasted through 44, that resistance area.
Yeah. Suspected that. And actually, I have here a pullback to the VWAP. I actually have this in my broker as well. So, boy, it looked like that happened fast.
We're getting a mention that Baru is up 10% and moving north.
Here we go again.
Also, Kathy was mentioning NBIS. I think be careful with NBIS. We were talking about how we need to be cautious on that one.
Yeah, be cautious on this. But this gave trades in both directions yesterday, and it's percolating a little bit here in the pre-market. So I see exactly why Kathy's bringing this up. Maybe we do get another run here. This thing
and we're open.
Yep, there we go. This thing moves quite a bit. All right, let's see what we get. Maybe we get a pullback here in ON. That'd be great. Little profit-taking pullback.
Maybe if that pulls back, we want to see VWAP hold up, but so far not.
Yeah, I got VWAP at 41.5. I got VWAP three points lower than where we're at right now.
FTCI is getting a little bit of movement here. Still not able to get above VWAP though. ON, we just looked at that. That's coming in a little bit. Lucy testing the 200 EMA SLRX that bounced after leaking into the open. We'll see if anything can happen out of this one.
AMD gap and go on the Investors Day presentation.
CMCT, we did get that pop up to 1036, came back down to VWAP. It's trying to push higher right now. We'll see if it can still get up to that 1080 level that I was mentioning earlier.
More calls getting bought here in AMD. Actually, part of me wonders if that's a roll higher on AMD.
CoreWeave out the gate, sinking lower after hitting its 200 EMA. NBIS, same thing, hitting its 200 EMA, getting rejected.
Tesla pullback right out of the open. PayPal pullback right out of the open. Costco and Netflix. Netflix was dirty. This Netflix move. So here, curious to know, and I know we're having an open market here, but I want to ask, what are the thoughts here on Netflix? Yes, we did get a recapture of the 200 yesterday. Yes, we closed above it. Today looks like we're back testing it. If we hold this, we think we're good for a long here on Netflix.
My thought is still going to be the same.
Split.
I'm still looking for 1060 to 1080, possibly as low as 1,000.
Okay.
Nothing
So
has changed.
you're waiting for a pullback then to those levels. No ifs, ands, or buts. The 200-day recapture doesn't matter. Okay, fair enough.
FTCI that popped over the VWAP here. Still, getting some pretty low movement. It's a little spready. About 25-cent spread right now.
AMD and ONON, the two stocks on my scanner that are trading with the highest volume in the current moment. AMD up 7+% now. ONON up 27%. Bonjour, Smoke Tuna. Good to see you. Tuna says there's nothing to trade.
Not yet, no.
Not on the move, not on the little movers. ONON is pulling back here. We'll see if that can get back down to its VWAP. I've got VWAP in my broker at 42.29 and 41.45 here in TradingView. Palantir, big pullback, 192 to 185 on that. Man, that, wow. You know what? Took my eyes off that. That would have been probably pretty good for PLTZ.
Yeah, you might have got 50 cents. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry, I'm just being so mean about PLTZ. That thing, it's the one that you want to be in if you're going to be, playing the other side of PLTR. But man, it doesn't give the same kind of rewards that RGTZ does. I wish it did. That'd be great.
Did you see the IBM quantum chip news this morning?
No. What's that about?
So here. Let me.
I'll read it.
Yeah, I'll just slack it to you because I actually happen to have the PR open right now. They're basically producing I love it, the Quantum Nighthawk. It's a great sounding product here. They're basically going to deliver a chip that is going to be able to solve real world problems by 2026. And it's basically just faster, higher qubits, higher qubit gate. So it reads really well. And it allowed Tim Melvin to do a mini victory lap here because he has been saying for a long time, actually said on this show that IBM is going to be the quantum winner.
IBM is probably going to be one of the big quantum winners. So will Honeywell, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know what he feels.
Sorry to interrupt. ON at VWAP here in my broker. I want to see if this holds. Izzy, you were saying, let me know if or mention when I buy it here. I'm watching the VWAP right now for a potential hold.
All right, so some of these names turning around. We're getting a little bit of turnaround here in CMCT.
That was the big mover here.
ON, this is pulling back. You're down. Yep. You're getting some support from VWAP at the moment. Lucy getting a bounce off the 200 EMA. FTCI, that's pulling back underneath VWAP, back into the consolidation. SLRX pushing higher. This might run into some resistance around 185.
Thought that first bounce off that VWAP might get sold on ON. It looks like that's what's happening here. CMCT, yikes, break beneath the VWAP there. No bueno.
Oh, that move is on a break beneath your VWAP?
Yeah, I've got VWAP here, 934. So it actually, you know what? No, 13, I'm sorry. Looking at this again, it looks like it was the previous candle that actually broke that level. But this does look like a breakdown away from that level. BBAI is moving big. I can put that on the screen here real quick. ON so far, it is holding that VWAP area.
Oh, wow. BBAI is absolutely rocketing. Next,
a little bit here.
Next level I have here for BBAI is going to be 8. That's the next resistance level. Wow. CMCT falling out of a triangle pattern. This is coming down to the 65 EMA, so not looking good there with CMCT.
All right, so I've watched ON here a few times. This has been dipped beneath the VWAP, but been bought several times right back up above the VWAP there. What's this BBAI moving on?
I don't know. Let's see here. It's probably on Palantir going down.
Artificial intelligence and military market projected to grow 35 billion by 2035. So this is just a kind of a generic PR about several of these related companies that we got at 9 o'clock today. I'm not sure. That's almost 40 minutes old. I'm not sure that's what's really driving it. Maybe.
I'm finding it very interesting that as soon as this starts rocketing, Palantir is tanking.
Yeah, they happened at the same time.
And they happened at the same time.
All right, Izzy, as far as ON goes here, I think we'll probably be all right if this can recapture and move above the VWAP. It looks like it's trying to hold it here. We'll see if it does.
Yeah, ON. You see, you're trying to play ON.
Yeah, I mean, I'd really like for this to. I feel like kind of watching it battle at its VWAP here. It's not sure which direction it wants to go. That's my read through on it. I think that it will probably try and maybe shake out a little bit here, and I would expect it to maybe move a little bit higher. Stock's already up 20% though, so we're talking about something a little bit high risk there.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'd have to wait until the next candle because it looks to me like we could either reverse here or we could absolutely just fall right through this support area.
It's okay to be a little bit patient.
Lucy is reversing off the 200 EMA at the moment. It's got a supply to chew through, so we'll see if it can end up doing that as it makes its way up towards the 65 EMA. SLRX popped above all of its moving averages, but now it's falling back beneath some of them, losing the 65 and the 200 in the process.
Izzy, you know what? We're under VWAP here. I'm going to nibble a little bit right here. 42.15, just a little though. If this goes against me, it won't be the end of the world. I just have a sneaking suspicion we're going to pop right back above that VWAP. And literally, oh my God. as I said that, literally as I said that, it popped back above. Now let's see if we can build and maybe bounce a little bit here. Maybe I shouldn't have bought a little, Izzy. I should have bought a lot. All right, let's see if we can test 44 would be one of my first targets here if this bounce is really going to hold anything. 44.87 is the high that we had right out of the open. VWAP still at 42.36. I'd probably just put a stop maybe a little bit beneath that in case it pulls.
On is recovering. It's trying to hold above this, my VWAP anyway. I have that at 42.32. Also, we got a big reversal with Lucy off the 200 EMA. That was fantastic. So 200 EMA really helped there. It also pushed through some of the supply that it was trying to chew through on its way up to the 65 EMA. Still has a lot of supply to get through as it makes its way towards 2, with a lot of that supply ending at about 195.
Okay. This actually looks, it's coming all the way back into VWAP here. All right. So right there is the nibbling stopped me from taking gains, FYI, just because I didn't have a whole lot and I wanted to see if that would really run back up towards that 44.87. Still battling here at the VWAP though. Let me know what you think, Izzy. Tenzin, are you asking or saying that the Apple dip is worth buying?
Well, I see no question mark.
Yeah, I'm
just giving you a hard time.
But I'm trying to give him at least a chance just to make sure I get it right.
Look at Lucy go. Look at this thing go. It's going right up to the 195 spot. It's almost there. It's testing it right now. What a fantastic move through all the supply.
Good stuff on Lucy.
SLRX did pull a little bit, but it's getting some support, trying to make its way back up through the 200 and the 65 EMAs.
So I have Lucy. Did you say that you had that moving through the VWAP?
It's through my VWAP. My VWAP.
Yeah, now it is. I've got it at 190, so it literally just moved through that.
183 for me. 195 is the top of the supply area that I was talking about. This sideways price action. So that's the top of that, and then we have the the after hours supply area to chew through. That's going to be from about 195 to 220. It looks like.
Okay.
Pretty good morning so far.
Yeah, I'll say this though. So the more I'm watching this ON here, it is trying to bounce off of this level. Might not be ready yet. Might want to peak some of these levels lower. We'll see though. It's trying.
Rocket Lab is rocketing. Oh yeah, that's up 6.25% right now. This got price target upgrades following their earnings report.
I was just wondering. I was going to say, did we get any news on that after its earnings?
This is actually might represent a really good buying spot too. I've been looking at some analysts saying that they expect this to be $80 in the next 11 or 12 months.
Okay, so you like this here. Interesting. Here's what the daily chart looks like. This is a pretty decent pullback area.
I mean, if you draw, so I have a parallel channel with this one. You could start it by drawing on the top side, going back to November of 2024 and using the highs there, and then just drop it down so that it lines up with the low of April of this year. This is on a daily chart.
Yeah, I was going to say that must be. So, okay, so run that by me again.
Do a parallel channel.
Parallel channel.
And start with the highs from November of last year and run it through the highs of October of this year.
Okay, and then this.
And then
looks like.
Yeah, there you go. So that's the parallel channel we're in with Rocket Lab, and we just bounced off the bottom of that channel a few days ago. So looking for the top end of this channel next, which is going to be about that $80 target.
Okay. ON. So here we go. So here's what we want to see. Oh gosh, did it again? I clicked on the wrong thing.
And with Rocket Lab, this is exactly what I wanted to see, because I didn't have a good feeling about them being ready to go with their Neutron rocket. Surely enough, leading into their earnings report, they confirmed that there was not going to be a test of that rocket this year. It's going to be next year. So that is a delay. That was the buying opportunity, because I still think Rocket Lab is going to be absolutely fantastic company. And when they do get that neutron rocket going, that is going to be a major competitor to SpaceX's Falcon 9.
Real quick here, 43, what's the high of this candle? 43.29 on ONON. Looks like we're about to take that here. Bounce should be good now, Izzy. There you go. Izzy, nice job. What was your entry on that, Izzy? Really good stuff on that.
Lucy went to 202 and pulled back pretty big.
I'm going to trim some on right here and let that rest run up until see what happens at 44.87. Really good trade there, Izzy. Good stuff. 42.20. Nice. Nice. Good stuff on that one. Nice little full dollar move there. ON. Actually, more than that. 43.50 now. Bounce is on.
Oakland is flying it. This is up 8% today. Still looks like we're coming up to some resistance in this one. Would say about 119, 120 is resistance. So if we can't get back above the 50-day SMA, I think we still go lower. I don't like the way the chart looks. I think 50-day SMA is potentially a resistance area, a big resistance area at that.
Let me save this one too. I tell you what, I think I'm losing some of my trend line extensions here because I keep forgetting to save.
Buying Apple at 271 says Tenzin.
All right, I'm looking at ONON. I'm wondering if there's another load spot here if it doesn't make its way back down to VWAP. I do have VWAP at 42.43. Thinking maybe if it holds 43, that would be a potential spot to add here. Volume actually looking pretty good, but at least some of the gains have been booked on that already. I don't know if it's going to have the strength to get back to that 44.87 just yet. We'll see. BBAI pulled off that 740 spot. This now back at VWAP, which is right at 7.
Yep. And FTCI is still trying to push higher, but volume is getting lower.
FTCI. This nice little recapture of the view. This actually doesn't look bad.
CoreWeave is trying to recapture 92. And it looks like it was just rejected and is heading lower now. CoreWeave not having a good week.
No, it isn't. And it was down like 30% from its recent highs not long ago, I feel like.
It wasn't. Yeah, you're right. It was down, rebounded, and then we ran into earnings, and it's ugly again.
Bitcoin, which has actually had a pretty good morning, that's back up towards 105, actually right at 105 on the futures. Ethereum was higher too, although that has shown some weakness from the open. And Bharat, you had mentioned Meta. You were shorting Meta. Meta down another 1% here. Meta actually testing yesterday's intraday lows. Bharat, good short on that one. Actually, we probably could have done that opening range here too on this. That actually looks pretty good. NASDAQ is down. Indeed, that's at the lows. NASDAQ and SPY actually at the lows. Dow is higher. Dow outperforming.
Rotation. BBAI really sinking now too. It's lost the 7 level, although it's trying to find some support so it can come back up and recapture it. But this thing, ugly series of upper shadows there past 15 minutes.
And this is BBAI, you said, right?
Mm-hmm. A lot of the names from this morning not looking great. On still trying to push back up to 44, and it's making its way there. Seller in the way at 43.70.
I don't think I like BBAI for a trade here today. SoFi at 32. There's a lot of SoFi bulls here still, right? SoFi with a nice move out of the open. Let's see if we had any other news on that.
Still waiting to see. I don't have any more RGTI. I sold yesterday after their earnings. Waiting for another load spot. But RGTI seems to still want to continue to lower. Next support's going to be down at 30.
Palantir more lows.
So that's helping BBAI.
184.
Spying Q is about to follow Bitcoin. Now, it seems like that's kind of the case, isn't it?
Lucy pulled back off that pop that took us above VWAP. That was kind of nasty. ONON continuing to the upside. PLTZ showing up on the scanner now with this Palantir move down. PLTZ back above 6.
Look at PLTZ. That was a nice little flagging operation.
44 coming here for ONON.
If PLTZ manages to go higher, there's some resistance at about 635. There's a whole little supply zone that it's running up to between 635 and looks like about 650 almost.
My last sell on PLTZ, I think, was in the 660s. That ended up working. I'll tell you what, trading that back and forth was definitely the right move. Hat tip to Andy for that one, instead of waiting for the moonshot.
Which one?
Any of these ETFs, just kind of trading them back and forth, as opposed to just scaling in, waiting for the moonshot and exiting. Trading them back and forth has been easier for me to do. Sean, will Honda show me 8 tomorrow? That'd be great. I don't know what's going to happen with that, which was part of the reason why I sold some calls at 6.
Looks like SLRX trying to move higher. We'll see if it can actually do that or not. ONON also trying to push higher as well. Lucy trying to recapture some levels. Back and forth today.
Raise the stop on the rest of ONON here, 43.50. That trade can't lose now, thankfully. We'll see if we get to 44. There we go. Got 10 cents from it.
Is he mentioning Perry? This was this had earnings. This is up over 13% on big EPS beat and guidance raise. What is this?
There's 44. Let's see if we take it on ONON. If we pop above this, we'll just exit into that liquidity. Oh, I almost took all of it right there. Nice job, Parker. What's your exit plan, Parker? There's 44 again. I can't clear it out yet. Sorry.
Gold mining stocks having a good day, says Kathy.
I'll roll through those here in a sec. I just want to see if ON can get through 44 here.
It looks like it's trying to hit it, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, it is actually hitting it. And they're actually, there it is. Okay, so we got 1 cent through it. See if we pop through it here. And they are totally refilling stock there at 44. It looks as if they're taking it all. Here we go. Now it's holding 44 bid and through, and we'll exit on that. Bang. All right.
Well done.
There we go. 1 for 1 in 2 parts on the exit. Didn't get as much as I had hoped for on that, but that's okay. Still a good move there and a good call.
FTCI still aiming for that 1040 area where we got rejected in the pre-market.
Really quick here before I move away from ONON, we'll see if it reverses here. If we do, that will set up a trend line that will give us some other targets. Izzy, are we still thinking that this is a potential reload for another trade if it moves down to 42? Actually, it looks like it's doing a pretty good job trying to churn right around 44 here.
Yeah, I saw that they were doing pretty good this morning. Line. I don't have NVO or UNH.
Oh, you know what?
MRK.
Yassine mentioned some of those. So let me ask you, 13. I believe, Yassine, correct me if I get your question wrong here, but you were wondering if these stocks represent potential pops if the government reopens here. So we're already seeing a pop out of the open. You think this pops further, or you think this is more of a sell the news thing, 13?
Let me look and see what's going on here. I mean, I would say that you have for UNH, you have resistance at 347. I don't know what happens there. Maybe you get rejected.
Okay, so maybe a little bit more room up to a possible rejection zone, it sounds like.
You're asking me if the reopening of the government's going to cause the healthcare stocks to go higher?
Yeah, that was Yassine's question from this morning. And given that we've already seen a pop out of the gate here with what we know about the government shutdown possibly ending here, my thought is turning to, is this actually going to be sell the news when we get the official word?
Well, I think for me, I would have to look and see what's happening with the reopening deal, like what aspects of healthcare are being covered, because we had the the ACA subsidies expire on November 1st. So I know that there's some kind of deal going on with reopening. I don't know how much of that includes subsidies or credits or what have you with regard to healthcare. But if there's some in there with that, then I'm sure healthcare is going to get a rise. Especially if it means government money is going into the hands of insurers or other healthcare companies. But I would have to look and see what's in that the deal. So if there is something in there about healthcare, then yeah, I think that healthcare companies could go on a little bit of an extent.
Okay, so it's really going to depend on some of the language around that when it opens. Okay, there you go, Yassine.
No, I don't mean the framework for a deal. I mean whatever Democrats and Republicans are working on that is going to get the government reopened. If it's anything in there that has to do with healthcare, then that's what I'm saying. That
and you're waiting for the official resolution on that.
Yeah, right? And that's, like I said, it's got to be. I would have to see what's in there. If there's any right. Provisions for anything that help get subsidized healthcare for Americans, then that's money going into the pockets of insurers. So it'd be good for that.
Okay, Izzy, you were mentioning that on pull. So I was watching that here. It actually looked like we had a flash pull right to the VWAP. Actually went beneath the VWAP a little bit. I did not buy on that. So no position here after we've exited the first one. But yeah, we did pull right to that VWAP. Actually peaked beneath it. That must have happened pretty fast.
On is still getting support from VWAP.
Sure is. It really quickly pulled, buyers bought it right back up. Part of me wonders if this goes above 44 again here. There's a little battle to get above 44. It might do it again.
Looks like BBAI is still trying to go higher, get back over.
There's 44 on ON. This looks like this might actually go higher. Well, didn't get the re-add there, Izzy. Good grats if you got that. And I'm sorry, 13. Which one were you looking at?
BBAI. It's still looking like this is trying to get back over 725. Already got rejected there once, came back in, found support from VWAP, turning around, trying to this level again. A lot of sideways action in some of these mover names. On is still trying to get back above 44, and it's at the doorstep right now.
I'll tell you what, we had those key levels identified real early on. Smoke Tuna, I know you had mentioned 42.10 as the call before the move there. I actually got 42.15 on my position. So it was not far from that.
GLTO and halted, says Chester. That has been a mover all week.
This is indeed halted 25.98. And that actually was on some pretty decent volume. Let's see what it's nothing compared to yesterday, compared to the big move here in the afternoon. But volume popped nonetheless here today.
Let's see. I mean, we still have all day. Let's see what we got.
Right.
I mean, it looks like this could go on to test 30 still. So we'll see if that ends up happening.
And that time that was halted 9:56:09. So we're looking at what, 10:01:09 as the resumption time?
BE is the top of a gap at 122.22. BE. Okay, I see what you're saying here. The potential fill to the downside, and it looks like that's going to be like 113.28 if it fills. That's where the close was that day on October 28th. So it's all depends on if the 20-day SMA can hold it up. If it fails, then we're filling that gap, I think.
BKYI, Tuna, you had mentioned this. This did pop up to the pre-market high there. It's trying to hold on to $1. Volume actually looks decent on this. Not in it.
Did this have some news today? Yes. Strategic partnership with Vapor VM. For biometric security solutions in Middle East and Africa. How is you doing today?
Well,
look at that.
U is in like YOU?
Yeah.
Tesla calls getting bought into this move to yesterday's low. It actually looks like it's trying to bounce here on Tesla.
Looks like you is still trying to hit that $39 print before it comes back in. Let's see here. What else?
ON pulled off that 44.
Yeah, that's the level for on.
Yeah, it sure is.
It's 44 today.
It sure is.
We can start getting some closes on the 5-minute chart above that, and we may see some new highs. 44.87 is the current high.
Here's Lyft. This went to 25.5 and came back. Boy, tell you, I remember watching those unusual options, and we had that just huge sweeps on Lyft. We were just a couple of months late on that, unfortunately.
Lyft had a really nice breakout from a downtrend line. And I don't know if you still have it on there, but it broke out in September, and it has been on a tear. There's not a whole lot of we're in a gap fill right now, to be honest, with Lyft. That's where we are right now with this. That gap doesn't fill until about 30. So we could see some more upside there with that.
Here's a look at that.
Yep, right in there. You have to kind of zoom in to see it, but
yeah,
because you have all those EMAs in the way, but there's nothing there.
So nice on Lyft. Probably should have taken that for a swing too. Tesla continuing to bounce now, 434. So I'll tell you what, looks like that low right there, 432 was that low on Tesla.
Getting a mention from Rocket Lab. That looks like that's gearing up to potentially go higher.
Anthropic says it will spend $50 billion on data centers in the U.S.
Cool. Looks like CMCT is turning around or trying to after getting some support from the 65 EMA. We'll see how high this goes.
I don't know if this matters, but Atlanta Fed President Raphael Bostic will retire when his term ends February 28th.
What company is buying BTE's Texas operation? I guess somebody was mentioning that earlier. I don't know. S-Bucks is up, says Izzy.
Starbucks, S-Bucks, yeah.
They received a hold rating from Mizuho today. And Stephanie Link apparently bought Starbucks yesterday.
I think she talked about that on the morning program, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, that's
I was mesmerized by the tree, but I'm pretty sure that that's what it was. GLTO is open here. That backed off the halt spot to the upside. Tesla's still bouncing 435. Boy, that was a good bounce spot. The calls told the story there. I didn't grab any, though. Damn.
BBAI with a little bit of a spike there. Still trying to get over 730. Looks like it's trying to push higher, though.
Now GLTO above that halt price. So maybe this does go a little bit here. I'm actually going to refresh Pro, see if I can get a little bit better latency.
Yeah, it looks like around the 2750 is going to be some resistance area. That's at least what it was looking like yesterday toward the close. It's really interesting how how Palantir is kind of trading a little bit inverse to BBAI.
What do we make of that?
I mean, well, look, I know that that BBAI, the narrative around that is that that's going to be the next Palantir. So if people think that, or if people want to still be in something like Palantir, but they don't want to necessarily buy Palantir because of how extended it is, maybe they just are going to BBAI thinking it's going to, perform similarly over time. I don't think it's going to, suddenly just be up to 185, but it took Palantir a while. Maybe it's going to take BBAI a while. I just, and I don't, that's just based off what I heard. I don't know that BBAI is going to be the next Palantir.
Yeah, me either. Wolf, this just popped a little bit on volume there. I'm trying to see if there's any news for this. That's WULF.
Wasn't it selling off yet, or not selling off? It was having some movement yesterday, so maybe it's selling off.
Yeah, it was selling off yesterday.
Oh, it's selling off. Okay, yeah.
And it looks like it's getting back here today. What has me noticing this is the size of the volume candle. It's clearly popping there on volume. This got B. Riley went to $23 on the price target here from 22. The producer is posting that Anthropic headline about the 50 billion. The source that I got it from was the Walter Bloomberg, the automated Bloomberg X account.
Yeah, mine. I don't even know if BBAI is going to end up, repeating the success that Palantir had. That's a whole other thing in itself. But it is being kind of touted as the next Palantir. So we'll see how that takes shape. Looks like BBAI is at the moment trying to shoot for some new highs. There is a big seller in the way at 745, however. Rocket Lab now over 55 for the moment. The high of the session is 55.33, and it looks like it's trying to break out of a bull flag formation here. We'll see if it ends up getting that resolution. Needs a little bit more volume. VCIG has a seller in the way at 169. This thing is not written some great volume. I don't know about VCIG.
I was going to say, we kind of knew that in the pre-market. We kind of talked about that.
Lucy about to make another move, looks like towards 195.
I've got this right at the VWAP.
Nope. Silver still going? Yeah, I saw that silver has been doing well over the past couple of days. Getting a lift from gold being up higher.
UNH 4%. Yassine, this was a really good mention on UNH.
A lot of these names just sideways right now. It's just nothing.
AMD 255.
Oh, love it. Is it really 255? I love it. There are some pretty wild price targets I've been hearing lately for AMD. We've heard about the 900.
Yeah. Those are the actual crazy ones. There's several in the 300s too.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of what I'm looking for in the short term is 300.
Jay, appreciate this. Just a bit of caution here. After the 3-day one, put call ratio went from 1.08 to 0.6. Anne Marie was talking about this as well on some of the individual names that we were looking at.
Line, either they have to show that it's superior to Palantir or that they have to show that it's more cost effective and still able to perform. I'm sure they will, they will go for the cheaper option if it still has, within their parameters.
Here's your NVO chart. This is actually at the highs. Y'all look like you're looking at a penny stock here, LPTX. This is ramping here. Would be a chase at this point. They're apparently reported earnings.
Maybe it stops becoming a penny stock later today.
Lion, the one that you like in the healthcare name is Merck, MRK.
That's one I'm into. I have, let's tell you what I've got. I still have, I used to own Abbott, and that was one I was mentioning yesterday because we were talking about the, semaglutide peptides, those kind of making people less hungry. So how do they get the nutrition if they're going to be eating less? You have, these nutritional drinks and supplements, and Abbott provides some of the most popular nutritional products. So Abbott might be a good one too, as we get down to or get more into this semaglutide and peptide usage. Yeah, Abbott Labs, ABT. Yeah. What happened to Circle? And then also being asked about thoughts on BBAI. We've been talking about BBAI. This thing is, maybe it continues to go up. It seems to be moving up whenever Palantir goes down. They appear to be in the same field, but as we were saying before, it might be a while before BBAI even gets close to what Palantir is doing in terms of stock performance and their technology. So still really early with BBAI. Looking for this to get above 740. If it does, I'd be keeping an eye on $8 as the next resistance area.
Oklo plus 11.75% post earnings here. This actually looks like an awesome back test of the trend line and a move higher.
I think we're getting a back test of the neckline with that. I'd still be careful with Oklo.
Yeah, we actually talked about this one when we looked at this on the bigger chart.
AMD,
right there, 13. That's actually a really good mention. You are right there.
AMD breaking out, hopefully.
Question mark?
Question mark?
This looks like this is breaking higher indeed. We talked about this last at 255. Looks like that impulse high move is in jeopardy here.
Very nice move above the 20-day SMA on the daily chart, though. But we are coming up to that resistance area where October was having a bit of topping out. Still think we could push higher than that, though. I think we'll see new all-time highs. I don't know. It's probably going to be sometime this month. I don't know about this week.
EW had another spike here out of the gate, totally round tripped. Move through some of these other stocks here. CoreWeave looks like that tried to hold 89 so far. ON looks like this is compressing a little bit. So here's the thing. I think if we hold above the VWAP here, which I have at 42.73, we continue to trade sideways, that probably bodes well for another 44 break higher. Izzy, you're mentioning Netflix. Did you end up taking Netflix swing on that? We did close above the 200-day for the first time. And today it looks like we peaked beneath it and held it.
So a company that's reporting tomorrow, Disney, they have just recaptured their 50-day SMA. They did it yesterday. They're trying to push higher. Coming into a supply zone between 117 and 120. Wondering if this gets rejected. I don't know what Walt Disney's earnings are going to be like, but their movie business has not been doing well. I don't know what the parks side of their business has been looking like. We'll see. I don't know that I necessarily like Disney right now, but it is interesting that they are showing some nice support from the 200-day SMA and a reversal that took it back up through the 50. So we'll see, but I'm not sure about Disney though.
ON, we'll see if we get back to a 44 test. We already talked about that being definitely a key level here.
BBAI is starting to look a little weak. It is currently still trading above the VWAP, but if we start closing underneath that multiple times, I think I'd be concerned about continued downside to the point where we go under 680. How are some of the space names doing today? I know that we have Rocket Lab that's doing pretty well. How are the other names?
Don't look now, but SanDisk another 4.5% here today. It's really starting to look like a vertical wall.
What you and Tim were talking about, what are the bear bombs?
Yeah.
This could be a bear bomb. This could be a major bear bomb.
Yeah. I don't know what he has planned for that in terms of actual stocks. I think one of the things that we're going to do is use Pro to try and identify some of these. So I don't know what criteria we're going to use for that yet, but let me take note of this.
Okay.
I can ask, maybe structure a trade around that too. Okay. Interesting. So the VIX curled up a little bit here today, still 1740 though.
GLTO broke 27. That thing is just on a tear.
Bitcoin
Disney's never coming back from their Wilt garbage. So based on what I do know about what's going on in that company, the real big problem, hands down, is Bob Iger. That is the biggest problem that the company has right now. bar none. When he's gone, that woke garbage can start getting taken out. And a lot of what's happening over at Lucasfilm, he's throwing Kathleen Kennedy under the bus. It might, all the decisions they've been making probably are starting to look as if they weren't from her, they were from Bob Iger. That guy needs to go. And I agree that the company's stock will continue to go down while he's still in as CEO. I think that guy's absolutely terrible for the company. But that's my opinion.
Sir Benny Blanco, any thoughts on VSIG? Our thoughts were the same on VSIG. Be careful with this one. We've seen its history before. We've seen it pop, pull, and really kind of disappoint people. So the overall thought here on VSIG was just to be careful. I avoided it for a day trade here today. I don't know if anyone in the group took it, but yeah, that's just one we've kind of seen before. We don't feel great about.
Lion, he has not stayed away from it. He's thrust himself completely into the middle of it.
Yeah, I think what he's saying is that a smart CEO would have done the opposite of what Iger did.
Right. Yeah, he's totally entrenched himself in that. He's got to go. That opportunity where the activists were trying to take over, that was such a missed opportunity, and the stock was rising into that potential circumstance. Then as soon as they kept Iger on, stock went straight down.
Speaking of stock going straight down, Amazon 246. What a reversal! Amazon was 252.50 in the pre-market, totally reversed there. Izzy, I'm glad we didn't try an Amazon bounce trade today.
Let's see. Mag 7 is all red today, bigly. We have Tesla down 2.3%.
Tesla's going for new lows right here. That bounce was super short.
Nvidia down almost 2%.
I probably would have been stopped on that bounce, to be honest.
Pretty much the one that's having the not worst day is Apple.
What did Jay call that yesterday? Hotel safety? What was your little name for Apple yesterday? I liked it. I can't remember what it was, though.
Hotel safety.
I almost want to say it was hotel safety. By the way, broader market here. SPY new intraday lows. NASDAQ rolling over to the lows. It's going to have to break its low to set a new one here, but it actually looks pretty weak. Looks like that might be coming. Dow pulled off of its high, but that's still remaining strong.
And a week from today, the big earnings print.
For NVIDIA?
Yep.
19th?
A week from today.
Okay.
All right. So let's look at some of these movers. Not looking like there's a whole lot there, although VCIG just had a nice pop up to VWAP. Looking to take out the seller at 180. That's the largest concentration of orders there. What's up?
I'm sorry. I'm laughing at something I see. It's not stock related, but apparently the betting market has Mike McCarthy to be the favorite to get the Giants job, which is something that I floated yesterday and am just rather amused by today. Has nothing to do with stocks. It just caused a laugh. Sorry. I'm sorry for distracting you. You were actually trying to be serious.
Giants fans, if you get Mike McCarthy, I'm very sorry.
13.
I'm just saying, look, sure, he has one Super Bowl win under his belt with the Packers. Okay. I don't know, whatever. He goes to Dallas, does absolutely terrible. That's the real Mike McCarthy. Goes to Giants. Giants are not going to have a good season as long as he's on. I don't think he's a good coach.
There you go. A teams not hire Cowboys failures challenge. Impossible. Brian, that's funny. Okay. AS. So we talked a little bit earlier about retail and how some of those were moving higher here. Remember, AS, this was one of those. This is the parent company. This is Amer Sports. It's the parent company for some of those trendy, expensive, high margin brands like Arc'teryx. We talked about this a little bit. I actually added a small call position for March on this. I wanted to see what's going to happen out of the earnings here. I'm encouraged by the action here today, but realistically, this trade's all going to come down to the earnings print that we get on November 18th. So we actually get this Tuesday before the market opens, day before NVIDIA earnings. So AS, we'll see. in it. Nice day here today. Hasn't been great. Still underwater on the trade.
Hey, no, blessed. I am not a football coach agent, but all I know is that when we throw something out, it becomes trash. And so when somebody else picks it up, they're picking up trash. Cowboys picked up trash, and if the Giants go and get McCarthy, they're picking up trash as well. Go ahead and defend Mike McCarthy if you want. I don't think he's great.
Well, what he's saying, so I'm reading that here. He's right on the record. Like, he has a much better record than Brian Daboll did. So maybe it's a step forward there, but there might be something else going on with that. I mean, Brian Daboll was like 7-2 his first 9 games with the Giants. And then all of a sudden the wheels came off. So I don't know what to make of that. All I know is that I guess kind of like 13, I was really glad the Bears didn't hire Mike McCarthy. They actually took him for an interview too.
Oh, that must have been a tough day for you.
I didn't think they were going to go down that road. I did go. So I know the restaurant around here where a lot of the Bears brass ends up going to. And I was like, I just want to go over there. I just want to go over there, see if I recognize anybody. I didn't. Should have gone in to eat and maybe stayed there a little bit longer. But no, I didn't think that was going to happen. That was an all right day.
Big move down in Rocket Lab, coming down to where the sideways consolidation was in the pre-market. Might get some support here. If not, then maybe it comes back down under 50, which would be an even better buying opportunity.
Bitcoin continuing to pull here too. So I was talking about how we lost 105. Now we've lost 104. 103 looks to be the next spot. We held that what looks like in the overnight session. Bitcoin weak here today. Ethereum the same.
On looking pretty weak. I think you're going to get some rollover here pretty soon. And if it comes down to 42, that's the last support before it comes down even more. Like probably the 65 EMA would be the next support area. Maybe 41, but losing 42, I think sets up a pretty good downturn.
I'll tell you what, we called this one perfectly. Moved down to the VWAP, held that area, bounced, gave us a trade, but really couldn't get above 44. So I know it peaked above it, but man, it really couldn't extend that. Now the rollover looks like it's in process. Here we are at the VWAP. Izzy, you asked about 42 earlier. Sure looks like 42 is probably coming here. I wouldn't feel great. Maybe it holds up there. I wouldn't feel great about that. I'd want that to confirm it. And then LPTX, are we finally $1 here? Nope, but we are on our way. On our way.
I love it when we can all root for a penny stock to get to $1. It's like a race.
It's easy for me to root for this one just because I'm not actually trading it. And you know what? Maybe that's what I'll do here. I'll talk about the penny stocks with you guys, but just won't trade them myself because every time I trade them, I seem to muck it up.
Ooh, BBAI with a nice little move that took it back up through VWAP. So this is the second time today where this trades underneath VWAP and then gets a nice volumetric move back up through it to take it up towards 730. Now, I don't know if this is going to hang out up here, but it just so far it's done that twice today.
ONON trying right now to recapture the VWAP. I've got that at 42.78.
Is he saying the S-Bucks is a ripper? Are we getting that coffee?
Someone mentioned that Kramer was talking about that here this morning on S-Bucks. Oh, 13. We got a trend line here, dude.
I read this earlier and it didn't click with me, but this is related to to Scott Bessent's comments about how there was relief on tariffs like coffee and bananas, some everyday things that we use. So seems like that's really the driving force here today.
Well, that comes on the back of Trump saying that some of the tariff levels were going to come in a little bit anyway. We had news specifically about India yesterday, and I think we had another comment this morning.
But yeah, from Bessent and it's specific items, okay. So coffee, like food, things like that we import.
Okay, Bitcoin's still weak. Tesla's still weak. Apple holding 272.
All right. And then there's that pullback from BBAI. So that's just kind of been the thing so far today. It just gets beneath VWAP for 5 or 10 minutes, and then it has this high volume move that takes it back up to 730. gets rejected and comes back in. That's been the process so far. I don't know how long that's going to last, but that's what it's been so far. Looks like PLTZ is about to make a new session high here.
PLT what? Z?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Palantir looks like it's actually going for some new lows there.
Do I think the market is waiting for the government to reopen? I think no.
No, I don't think the market cares. The market's very much like me. I don't give a damn about the government reopening. I'm not waiting for that. I am waiting for Thanksgiving. To be quite honest with you, I cannot wait for Thanksgiving.
If the market's waiting for the government to reopen, it's waiting for it to reopen so it can sell off. I think it's going to be a sell the news event. That's just me, though. BBAI said could be the next Palantir. Yeah, that's what that's what we've been saying. Like that's they've said that, or somebody said that a long time ago, like months ago. I don't know how true it is. There isn't much of a choice to bring in. Well, so not always, Lion. Not always. We're not always the ones that are paying the tariffs. Sometimes so when you get a tariff, when something's tariffed, when it's imported into the country, it's the importer that's hit with that. Now that almost always gets passed on to the consumer, but there have been a lot of times lately where these importers are eating the tariffs so that they can have their prices stay competitive. So it's that situation that has made it so that some of these tariffs aren't reaching us.
And so Tim kind of talked about that a little bit. The whole thought about the eating the tariffs there, it never really gets talked about. Very clearly, these companies are realizing that this is a negotiation tool and think it's going to be a short-term thing. So if they eat the tariff early on, don't pass it along to the consumer, their product stays in the consumer's buying cycle. When the tariffs get resolved on the other end, they didn't lose any business, and then it's business as usual. I think the thought here is that if this all comes crashing in, then all of these things are going to get passed on to the consumer, and all of this bad stuff is going to happen. The point that I was trying to make earlier is that we are not seeing that yet. Maybe we still will. I don't know what the future holds, but we haven't seen it yet.
No, that's wrong again, Line. It's not American companies all the time. Importers. That doesn't mean American companies. That could be a foreign company that's importing it to the U.S. to sell in the U.S. And they are not passing it to us 100%. We just talked about how they're not doing that.
Yeah, Empyrean did a really good job when this was all front and center months ago. Empyrean in our chat did a really good job of explaining in detail, without emotion, how this all works. I wish I would have saved that a little bit more, but we've actually had this discussion quite a bit.
Then now Hippo is talking about something that is potentially disastrous. If SCOTUS says that these tariffs that Trump is putting on are not within the parameters of the act or the Emergency Powers Act that he's trying to enforce, then there's this thought that we're going to have to repay them. That's if we don't pull other levers. There's still some things that can be done so that we don't have to pay those tariffs back, but it may end up just being an act of Congress.
He's also said recently that he has a backup plan in case that happens.
Yeah, like I said, there's multiple levers that can still be pulled. The Supreme Court, yes, so what the Supreme Court issue is whether or not Trump has the authority to impose the tariffs, not whether or not tariffs are a tax. All right, so looks like BBAI is still trying to flirt with getting out of that 730 area.
Iron more downside here. Wow. I feel like we were just talking about this at like $74.
That thing was a flyer, wasn't it?
Yeah. Look at this.
Well, even flyers have to land sometimes.
Hopefully the landing gear still works.
Oh, man. Core, we've went under 90.
Palantir so far held 184.5. And also seeing some on-calls get bought for the VWAP strike there, 42.5. Those are next week's calls. So that's a short-term swing off the VWAP retest here for ONON, I think.
The $2,000 stimulus, we're not borrowing that money. That's from tariffs that the customs has raked in. I don't think they should be spending that or giving it out.
Me either. They should be focusing on the debt, in my opinion, first.
I completely disagree with them giving that money out to anybody. Doesn't matter if it's people that are making less than 100,000 more than. I don't think it should go out to anybody. We're pulling in these tariffs for a reason. I don't think the reason was to just give it back to the American people.
I think eventually down the road that's probably the case, but the administration has said without a doubt that they're trying to help pay down the debt with that. So with that being the case, 13, I'm in agreement with you. I'd like to see that go out there first. I'd like to see them work at that first. I beg your pardon. I will say though that if you really wanted to help, then those tariff rebates for the lowest income earners, that probably wouldn't hurt all that much, because I don't know if you'd really get a huge bump on inflation from that, because the pool's going to be smaller, and these are people that probably are hurt the most and probably need this help the most. My big thing, like you were just saying, just to kind of use the level that you had given there, if they give that stimmy check to everyone making 100,000 or less, to me, that feels a little bit more haphazard. I think you can target that a little bit more. The other thing about that stimmy check is that they talked about them not necessarily mailing out checks and having that be some other way of getting that, like a tax break or something like that. Yeah, something of that nature. I don't think any of that is in stone. I'll be honest with you. I'm not really thinking about that a whole lot at the moment.
Well, at least with the tax credit, there's no interest tied to it. Because they wouldn't have to. Because I think the way I'm looking at it is if they're going to send out stimmy checks, that's an interest-bearing payment that the government has to make because they're borrowing to send that out. At least that's the way I'm looking at it.
Brian says, send it straight to my brokerage account. Actually, so I know you're making a joke there, but I think the smartest thing, if you were to get a stimmy check like that, would be to invest it. If you can.
Just like everybody did in 2020.
Well,
when we ran up all these stocks. Yeah, we just buy GameStop.
Oh, that's funny. The craziest part of that first stimmy check around COVID, it was what, 1,200? And then immediately you saw ads for big screen televisions on sale for $11.99. I mean, crazy.
What politician am I don't know what you're referring to, Lion. I've never said that I trusted somebody that's in politics.
Probably best to avoid doing that.
If it's something they said that I listened to, and I mean, I don't. We were just talking about tariffs. What am I being lied about? It looks like PLTZ new session highs.
And actually, PLTR, that's a fresh break lower there. PLTR, PayPal also breaking the intraday low and moving lower here. Tesla so far has bounced off 432, but I'll be honest, that chart looks like there might be some more weakness. Selling in Ondas now as that continues to move lower.
More rotation. Rocket Lab near the session low. PLTZ 624 new session high. RGTZ is also having a good day too. That got as high as 2066 yesterday. We're at 2026 right now and still trying to push higher.
Do you have a new reload level for that, by the way?
Oh gosh,
more open calls, by the way. I tell you what, this open really looks like this wants to go through 860. Is anyone trading open here today? I can't remember.
So I still think that, if we do get a turnaround here in Rigetti and it trades up, then when it gets to 34 or the 50-day SMA, that might be the reload area, but it hasn't done that quite yet. This is day 2 of kind of hanging out down here. I still think this could end up going lower before it turns around. And if that does happen, then maybe we're looking at potentially 28.50. We'll see. The reload area, I'm not sure about right now. But if it does turn around and start filling that gap that I outlined from Monday to Tuesday, then I would think the 50-day SMA or the 34 area would be a reload area. But man, RGTZ, new highs now.
Yeah. And you know what? You might be getting another kind of a swift move lower here if RGTI breaks the intraday low from yesterday. And furthermore, I think I've got it on the other chart, but I think if I go back to my bigger chart, isn't that near the bottom end of that range that we marked off on the chart 13? I'm trying to look at the chart in my head. Yeah, okay, yeah. So not quite. So 28 looks to be the low end of that range. I think this is where we're going here, guys, on Rigetti.
It really does seem like that's the next stop.
Yeah.
So I think if we do get support there, then we start to turn around. The top end of that channel is probably going to be your load zone. So I think it's just a matter of waiting and seeing. If you're already in RGTZ, you're having a great time. You just are. You're having a great time.
Yeah, that's exactly my issue here is I'm wondering when's the buy area for RGTZ? And I thought we talked about this possibly being the 50 or the top end of this range, which is about $34. Is that what you said earlier?
Yeah, I just don't want to be picking this up now while it's still sinking.
That makes sense. I think that's your next target on Rigetti, 28. Okay, what else do we have here?
Hey, Lion, that's why I don't support either party. Market falling, good. It's about time. It really needed it. Because like I was saying earlier, I don't think that slightly more than 4% of the pullback that we got was nearly enough. I think we really need to come in further. For a meaningful pullback / correction, and then we can have a great rest of the year into next year where we expect some really big pain to happen. But I feel like this is supposed to. We need a bigger pullback than this. This was nothing.
We might still get that.
That's right, Lion. Oh, absolutely, Jay. Absolutely, that's the case. Absolutely. I mean,
which one? Jay's here. The AMD.
Jay Rice. The AMD is taking some of their market share. Yes, because So, oh wow, Rigetti is just absolutely ripping, or RGTZ. I mean, the whole thing here with NVIDIA was that they had pretty much the only great AI chips, and everybody was clamoring after them. But now you have AMD and some other players coming into the field that have similar performance, not as good as NVIDIA's, but similar at a lower cost, and they can scale up their compute more quickly with that because it's more available. So I think that's what one of the big things you're seeing with AMD cutting into NVIDIA's market share is because they are becoming a cheaper secondary option, and that's going to be easier on the pocketbooks of some of these companies that don't want to have to shell out the top end prices for NVIDIA's chips.
More selling here. Amazon, PayPal, Tesla, all moving lower here.
And Rigetti is RGTZ is just.
And I'll tell you what, the short today, that was the move.
Yeah. Yep, and then it's probably going to, we're going to probably see some buying here after this good summer, because that seems to have been kind of the play lately. Is that market opens, we see some selling out of the day, it goes down, and then we spend the rest of the day recovering. That's been the past 3 days, not today, but before then.
So I'm going to ask you the $64,000 question then.
What's that?
Where's the level that we do that today? You knew that was coming.
We might. Let me just look at the daily chart. Hold on. Maybe it's down around 680. We could come down to 680 and bounce off that level. If not there, maybe 681. It's going to be in that dollar range. I think that we'll find the support. Now, hopefully I'm not wrong about that, but it seems like that's where the next big area of support is. Maybe 678.47, where that previous all-time high is. But I like the 680 681 area.
So I'm almost wondering if the time of the day would be a better indicator for us. It sure looks like between 11 and 12 is when that reversal has kind of started, when the selling has abated and the reversal on the market has started. 11 to 12.
Pretty much after the
as soon as our show ends.
As soon as our show ends and the lunch hour starts to wrap up, people coming back to their desks and volume starts picking up again. Yeah, about that time. It's so basically after lunch. Archer levels, not a problem. Oh wow, this thing really got hammered today. So if I'm looking at a 5-minute chart over the past couple of days, there's a lot of sideways price action down around 850. So that could be a big demand zone area as we approach that. We're not too far away from it. Looking at a 5-minute chart too, this selling has been so substantial that we have a pretty low RSI on the 5-minute chart. So I am liking that 850 area for a potential bounce. I don't know that we're going to necessarily reverse there. But if that demand zone is strong enough, like it's looking like it is, then that could be the reversal area. If that's not the spot, then I also like 820. Hopefully that's helpful to you. Mining stocks getting stronger throughout the morning. So we did get some news earlier
Gold
this
mining,
week.
right? Not Bitcoin mining.
Metals mining, yes.
Yeah.
So we did get some news earlier this week about how China is going to be trying to limit how much rare earths makes it into the military side of the U.S. So I saw that, and we haven't gotten a turnaround in the rare earth mineral plays yet. But I feel like with that on the table, we could start to see at least some bottoming of those plays. So things like MP could be a play. I don't think that it's still selling, so I don't think that we're there yet. But we might be starting to see some bottoming here with this one. Looks like yesterday we went lower. This is kind of flagging a little bit here from all the selling that we've had. So it looks like the bottom might have already started.
Is this MP that you're talking about?
Yeah. So let's just wait and see what we end up getting here with MP and some of the rare earths. And keep an eye on that news, because if this does reignite tensions between the U.S. and China, then I think that rare earths plays back on.
What else was I missing here? We are 4 more minutes here. We're going to go over to an all access. Okay. Smoke Tuna mentioning ON is going to break down. So it's all been about the VWAP on that. Izzy, we did well going at this early and then maybe kind of pumping the brakes a little bit on it, because I don't really think we got another good opportunity. Maybe that flash pull down to the VWAP that ended up bouncing right back, but that's almost luck. That's almost very difficult to do. I think Smoke Tuna is right here. This thing really struggling to recapture its VWAP here. I would say as long as the volume continues to come in and compress like this without us getting above that, stock's still up over 20%. I think this pulling back probably not a bad thing. And I would put maybe 40.5 is the next level down. What do you have, 13?
Marcus was asking about NBIS. This thing has been getting hammered all morning, and it was getting hammered yesterday too. We lost the 50-day SMA yesterday. Today it could represent the second close beneath it if this does not recover. And this is also looking like it may have some lower prints ahead of it, especially if it cannot hold above this $95 level. It looks to me like from October, we got 95 as support. And if that doesn't hold up, then I think that we're headed down towards 87, because that high from November of 2021, that would be the support area. That was the area when we gapped up in September. We found that level as support, and we ripped higher into 140. So as we come back down to that same area, 87.11, I think is going to be the spot where you're going to want to see that support for NBIS.
Marcus has 95.50 here as the next support level for NBIS. We're only 50 cents away from that.
95, 95.50, that area has got to hold up, because if it doesn't, then we're coming back underneath 90, I think. Loan Depot, this is trying to get back above the 20-day SMA. It got rejected this morning. As far as support goes, probably I would say maybe 275 would be the next area of support that I see. So that's got maybe 280, 275, 280 is going to have to be the area. If that doesn't hold up, then this may end up having a date with its 500-day SMA over time. Not a great looking rejection. Got to hold up with 260.
Okay. Amazon 245 still near the lows, not looking great. Palo Alto back down to 214.
PLTZ new high 630.
Palantir continues to pound its lows.
Looks like Rocket Lab is starting to get a little bit of a turnaround here, though. I wouldn't. I'd still be careful with this one because that area where it was a demand zone has now become resistance. So resistance is looking like that could be as early as 52, where we're at right now. And if not there, then maybe 52.40.
Okay, Bitcoin still pulling back. All right, 13, we're going to go over to the all access now. Any closing words for our group here today?
I had a great time with all this wild price action we were experiencing today. But you know what? Tomorrow we'll have another day full of, I'm sure, ups and downs, and we'll find those, trade those, make some money. It'll be a good time. So everybody, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow.
And who knows, with a bit of luck, we'll get a headline about tariffs and we'll go back into that again as well. We shall see. 13, really, really good stuff here today. As always, have a good rest of your Wednesday. We'll see you on Happy Hour and see you tomorrow. 13's departure paves the way for my good friend and fellow Zip player on LinkedIn, Kevin. Kevin, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. I didn't do Zip yet today, but how you doing?
I'm doing good, dude. 141-day streak. I'm crushing it.
Cool.
9 more days, and apparently I reach a new level and get a new badge. So pretty excited about that.
That's cool. Got to put that up on the fridge.
7 seconds. It was awesome.
Awesome. Dude, I got a great couple guests with us today for our All Access. We've got CEO and CFO of iQSTEL, and we're going to go over sort of what their company is and what they have in line for the future.
Amazing. I'll get out of your way. I'll see you when you're done. Take it away, Kev.
What's up, Zingers, and welcome back to another All Access. I've got two great guests for you today, CEO Leandro Iglesias and CFO Alvaro Quintana of iQSTEL. The ticker is IQST, and they're joining us for an exclusive talk today. I hope you're ready because All Access starts right now. Leandro, Alvaro, it's so great to have you guys.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you very much for this opportunity to talk about our company, our projects, and everything. Thank you.
Good morning, Kevin. So great to have you both here. So let's get into it a little bit. So iQSTEL seems to be heading into 2026 in a really good position. But before we get into that, can you tell our viewers a little about your company and its strategy of growing through buys?
Sure. Nowadays our company is a global connectivity, AI, and digital corporation. And over the last 7 communications and fintech companies, nowadays we are trading, our business is like 80% in telecommunications and 20% fintech. And basically we have been very careful in selecting the companies that we acquire, adding products and services, adding marketing coverage and commercial coverage. And that's basically, and of course that the team that joined to us, match perfectly with the corporate values that our company has.
Awesome. So you guys recently said you expect organic growth in 2026. That's 26% higher than what you expected this year. What do you think is driving that?
Alvaro is the right person to say.
Yeah, sure.
Sure. Well,
works closely.
Actually, that is based in the synergies and integration that we have accomplished along all our subsidiaries. So we have been acquiring companies, we have been integrating those companies into our commercial processes. We are doing a lot of synergies among of all our subsidiaries. So we are taking advantages of the commercial advantages that each subsidiary has. So basically that's the secret sauce of this tremendous growth that we have year after year.
Awesome. So a little bit to add on to that, iQSTEL recently inked a deal with AI cybersecurity company Securion, which gives you an entrance into that red hot area of cybersecurity. Could you tell us about that deal and the market opportunity for the combined companies?
Yes, sure. If you know, the one of the things that we have been building over years is a very solid of business platform because our customers are the largest telecommunications companies around the world, and our strategy is very simple: it's selling connectivity, fintech services, AI, and we are adding cybersecurity to them. So we want to be receive it as in for by our customers as the one stop shopping for you know every service that they need in connectivity and digital services. So we are really excited to because we carefully select Securion as our partner. They have a very strong presence in the US. They have a very strong presence in the US government. So I think it's a very good partner work together in this journey to introduce cybersecurity services to the telecommunications arena.
Absolutely. That's awesome. I'm very excited to hear about that. What a great, deal and partnership right there. So what other deals are on the horizon? Is iQSTEL currently in any deal talks or looking at any prospective targets?
Alvaro.
Yes, we are actively looking for new companies to integrate to our group. We are in active discussions with three potential targets within the telecom arena and other digital services, but we don't want to give any,
You don't want to give that secret sauce away too
Yes.
soon?
We will let the market know once we reach agreement with any of those potential targets. So
Were there any other
as
companies?
you know, we always do disclosure of everything. So we every time that something important happen in the company, we file an 8K or we do a press release. So we try to keep our shareholders and the market informed of our steps.
Gotcha. Awesome.
Something at this point. You know, our company has been growing very solid, but we add additional companies that complete our market strategy and our portfolio of products. And we are pursuing, we set our goal for 26 is 15 EBITDA. So we are in this process, adding, product and services in the connectivity and digital services and, adding bottom line.
Awesome. So I know you guys mentioned also the company had a stated goal to reach $1 billion in revenue by 2027 and a reputation for beating its targets. Where are you guys on that goal?
Well, we are working very close. We try to set the goal, line up all in to pursue that goal. We are on track. We are on track. We are right now, we are $400 million run rate. So we are on track to achieve $1 billion for 2027.
Leandro, I'm so sorry. It sort of cut out there. Would you mind repeating yourself? I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah, sure. What I said, we are on track to achieve this $1 billion revenue for 2027. Nowadays, we are $400 million run rate, 80% telecommunications, 20% fintech. So we are on track for that. And we always set, goals in order to line up all the organization to achieve them. We have a very good reputation setting the goals of our revenue, meeting or surpassing. That's where we are right now. We are very happy for the things that we are coming soon.
That's awesome. I'm excited to see what you guys have in store. Alvaro, Leandro, do you have anything else to leave our viewers off on?
I think important that we became in a zero.
Yes, well, Leandro was breaking up, but basically, I think he was mentioning that we clean all our convertible debts during the last few months. Most of that debt were converted into preferred shares, which shows the confidence that our investors has in the company. So, and I think that is good news for the market and for the investor. We are always looking on ways to add value to our shareholders. In
That's awesome. Guys, the CEO and CFO of iQSTEL, it was so amazing to have you both here today.
Thank you very
Thank
much, Evan.
Absolutely. Guys, we're going to send it right back over to Ryan, and we're going to be seeing the storytellers very soon. Hope you guys all enjoyed that interview. Very interesting stuff on what iQSTEL has in works going forward.
All right, Kev. Thanks a lot. Definitely need a microphone upgrade there, without a doubt on that for the guest there. He was cutting out like crazy.
I know. I was trying to sort of get some
Yeah.
feedback with him, have him repeat it a little bit. I felt bad.
Yeah. Good stuff nonetheless. Appreciate it, Kev. We will see you next time. Love the tie here today.
Thank you. Take care.